and nobody better steal this. I tell you what, because this is the problem with you eavesdroppers.
Yeah, don't steal my home run.
Don't forget to like
either.
and subscribe, or you're gonna steal my fucking ideas. You son of a bitches.
No, I'm trying to. You're trying to bring comedy and all that. I heard. I'm trying to do this thing this summer. I'm gonna pitch the idea on my YouTube channel too. Is I want to call it Swing for Suicide and have a giant like uh home run derby for suicide awareness.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I thought that would
Dude,
be
that's
awesome.
a sick idea, dude.
I want to try to find a field that would let us use it, and try like $7 for to be in it, $5 for general admission, and just
all proceeds then would go to that.
Like there'd be raffles, there'd be for the top three of the actual event, there would be like small rewards and all that for winning the actual thing.
Right. Man, that would be cool. So, do you need like a particular size field? Can it be like, I mean, because I know there's some like little
there's
fields.
Monsters around here.
Is there?
I don't know. I want to go. I don't want to go t-ball because I can throw a ball from home plate.
Well,
over
that's what I'm
the
saying.
fence.
It has to be a challenge.
I want to go like major league, like high school major league field, not like college or anything crazy like that. Just something that high schoolers can hit it out. So
Right.
like somewhere around that ballpark. But I didn't want to go too big and then make it almost impossible.
Well, right,
for
it's got to be
Joe.
a relative challenge, you know,
Yeah.
because you figure, like, because with professional baseball, even, it's not like they're all knocking them out of the park. It's not easy for even a pro,
Yeah.
so, like, it has to be relative distance.
Yeah,
to
I
where,
want to
like,
find that good medium
small
mark.
percentage, right. Man, that would actually probably be a big thing around here, man. Like, even as someone, like, I'm not, like, a big baseball enthusiast, but I would do that. I mean, especially for a good cause.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be so cool. It's got a good name. Let's say it again. What is it? Swing
for Suicide.
Swing for Suicide.
I don't know if that's like too, because originally I wanted to call it the Fuck Suicide Home Run Derby, but then I realized like there's kids under 5 that will get in free. Like that's my idea. Because like kids under 5, they're not going to be able to be in the derby, but they can go out onto the field and catch the balls that aren't going or over the
Right. Get them
like
involved. They feel like they're participating. You know, none
Yeah.
of them are cracking home runs, but it brings everybody together. So yeah, your name does have to have a little bit of softness to it.
Yeah,
like,
because
I was even gonna say even putting the word suicide in there is like kind of iffy. It's like sometimes you're like, ugh, that word kind of.
The funnier version of it that my buddy told me, he wanted me to call it Deport Depression. But that was around the whole like Trump thing, and I was like, buddy, we can't call it that.
Because then people are gonna pin a race to it.
Yep.
And, you know,
no, it's just Swing for Suicide is like up front. Well, that's what we're doing, and that's what it's for. That's what I came up with.
Man, that's a really cool concept, and especially because it has a good cause. I mean, like, I'm trying to just do shit that's fun and just will make the area cool. But like that actually would be something that would be beneficial. And then you figure like you start doing it annually. You know, I mean that's something that, like I said, you could do that for a long time. You know, and like
Absolutely.
it could even turn into like I always am trying to get people to just legitimize what they're doing. It's like, man, like with a little bit of backing. $150, you can fucking file to be a non-profit, man, and like you could do it right. Because like I had this idea when I got Lyme disease about 10 years ago. You know, I'm able to make a fucking joke out of anything, but at the same time, it's like in all seriousness, it would be kind of cool to be able to use what little platform I have. I mean, like I've been well known enough through doing tattoos that I could say through my business I could do some kind of charity drive. You know what I mean? I have that power essentially, you know what I mean? Like I'm in a good position to be able to do that. So like I was going to start, and nobody better fucking steal this, I tell you what, because this is the problem with you eavesdroppers.
Yeah, don't steal my home run.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, or you're going to steal my fucking ideas. You son of a bitches. But I was going to call it Partners in Lyme.
That's a good name.
Because it's like, man, partners in crime, it has a good coin phrase, you know, partners in line, we're holding together, you know what I mean? Like, and the tick is the fucking handcuff. You know what I mean? Like, I'm telling you, I'm like, dude, I was young when I got Lyme disease, so like, this has been brewing for a while. And I actually lived within like a handful of feet from Donna Oberlander. She was my neighbor. and she might even still be the state representative of Pennsylvania, actually, and she is actually the one that does all of the Lyme disease awareness, because obviously it has
Oh,
its own month, it has its
yeah.
own thing, and I was always too nervous to be like, hey, can I get involved?
Mhm.
Because of me looking like me, it's like walking over to some
Yeah.
state fucking senator. I was just scared, you know. So it's like at the time now, it's like fuck, dude. Like it's so easy to put those kind of things in place, and you don't realize like when you do something like that, people just start popping up like, hey, listen, I was affected by something like that, or I know somebody. Let's get involved, you
Yeah.
know. And like usually that kind of stuff. I mean, any kind of disease or any kind of trauma like that, everybody knows somebody, and it's usually an entire family that's and affected, you know.
Absolutely.
And if it's in a big enough area, it's a community that's affected by these things. So it's like, you know, there's enough people to where, like, you know, you're talking about crowdfunding something and making a difference. I mean, that's the best way to do it, is to, you know, find something that means something to you and something that like is relatable like that, because there's a lot of opportunity for that around here. I think just more people are just, I think, afraid to just take the first step and try to do it, you
Oh,
know.
it's
Like
terrifying.
I feel weird walking into fucking city hall, even being someone that's been in the business for, you know, 20 years. I'm still
Yeah.
like got that imposter syndrome, like I don't belong here, you
That's
know.
the
But
worst
like,
feeling
but
on planet
everybody's
Earth.
so nice too. Like you walk in there and I'm like, hey, listen, I want to start, you know, planning events or something like that, or doing
Mhm.
something. Who do I talk to? I run the tattoo shop. They're like, oh, okay, you know what I mean? Like, so it's
Yeah.
like what used to make you worried, like, ah, tattoos. Oh, you're a fucking. Now most people are so cool. You know, it's like, so it's a different world now, and people,
Yeah.
you know, people are a lot more receptive to new ideas. Especially, like I said, like you're liable to the person you walk up to and talk to has probably known somebody or been affected by somebody in some sense.
That's actually one of the tattoos I want to get someday. Is right across my heart. I want to have a tattoo that says "Do it scared," because you're not going to do anything in life if you're not going to willing to try to push outside of your comfort zone, push outside your little box that you're in, and
Oh,
just
absolutely.
push to your dreams. Because like, if I would have stopped because of outside sources, I wouldn't be anywhere that I wouldn't have the camera gear. I wouldn't have
Oh, I'm sure.
the
You know,
following on social media that I have, and like I wouldn't be anywhere if I just let some people saying things.
people don't realize, like, you know, I was actually just talking about that. It's like it's easy to look at someone that's already doing it and say, "Ah, I can't fucking do that." You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, but you don't realize how many fucking people told you or I that we couldn't do it either.
Mr. Beast took 4 years to hit 1,000 subscribers,
See, and I'm
and like,
sure, you know, and it helps to do it for the right reasons. You know, if you're going out and just trying to, you know, get rich quick, make it fucking
oh
famous or
hell
whatever,
no.
yeah, you could probably do something crazy, spit on that thing or something, you know. But for the most part, you know, it just takes time and patience.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, like I was just talking to fucking Christian about that. It's like, dude, he was so, you know, excited to hear somebody like paying attention to what he's doing and his artwork and stuff, because
Mhm.
like I fucking denied him working at my shop, you know, which he could sit there and say, well, maybe he wasn't good enough, but it's like we can sit here and have a conversation. He understands that, like, hey, maybe it just wasn't the right time.
Mhm.
I don't hold anything against him. He doesn't fucking begrudge me. We're still cool. It's like, you know, he understands and respects my professional opinion. And a lot of people that you could sit there and say, well, you know what? Like, it ain't fucking easy. You know, like, ah, yeah, you're saying that because you got 1,000 fucking followers. You get all this shit. It's like,
Yeah.
but I wasn't like that. I mean, like, it wasn't like that all the fucking, you don't start out that
I've
way.
I've
You
wanted to be
know,
a social media creator since I was 15. I've been or probably 12. I've been working at it since then. I'm 20, and I just now I'm at 65,000 followers on TikTok, and I'm just now
I,
trying to build my YouTube. And
and you can't gauge project progress, so it's like you can't compare it to anybody else,
no,
you know.
because that's a self grow kind of thing where like you're never gonna be able to gauge it to like Mr. Beast. He now has almost what 300 million subscribers, but it took him 5 6 years to hit 1,000.
Man,
Like, eh,
you could only fucking hope if you had that fucking beast money, you'd be doing what he's doing with it.
oh dude,
He does some crazy shit, dude, and
yeah.
I can only hope that it's not just all fucking stage. I mean, he seems like a pretty genuine
He seems like it.
person,
I've always
but
wanted to believe that it was true.
but yeah, I mean, he does a lot. I mean, he's quite the fucking character and
Oh
stuff too.
yeah.
And it's the same thing. It's like, you know, just I mean, just being genuine and being himself. I mean, I remember him posting like his first video that he had ever put on
Mhm.
YouTube, and it was like, you know, him essentially projecting talking to himself 5 years from now. And it's
Mhm.
like, you know, so you kind of got to think about
Oh
like
yeah, he's got all those videos
gonna
queued
make
up.
the progress, you know, like
Yeah.
5 years from now, it's gonna feel like it went like that, and you can only hope that you're gonna be successful. But like, you gotta understand, like, there's a fucking long road to get there
Mm-hmm.
And in 5 years, you might be checking in with no progress,
Yeah.
but it's like, if you quit, you're absolutely not going to get any better. So you
Yeah.
might as well just put the fucking feet in the mud and
I
start working.
started last year with 250 subscribers on YouTube, and I was like, I want to hit 1,000 by the end of this year. I'm gonna start digging my feet into the ground. I want to hit 1,000 by the end of this year.
YouTube's a hard fucking
Oh yeah,
market.
and I
It's
just
the hardest of them all, I
yeah,
think.
I've been working on it since 2021, 2020, 2021. I just hit 4 years, so it's 2021. I've been, and I decided at the beginning of last year, I was like, I'm gonna end this year with 1,000 subscribers. I'm gonna post almost every week as often as I can,
Where are
and
you at right now?
I had 730. So
730.
I doubled everything.
What's today's date?
It's February something.
February something. Like the 21st or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a fucking massive following. But
20.
anybody that's watching this, you got to go follow this guy.
Yeah.
Get him to 1,000 subscribers.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, it's a hard run, and like I stopped counting the subscribers because I learned that really what's important is the watch time.
Yep.
And like, it's just like in all of this, I mean, I've spent so much money in the wrong direction, not knowing where to spend it, how to spend it. Do I upgrade this or do I upgrade that?
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, I've been doing this for a fucking year or longer, and like I just now started putting them out essentially. I mean, like I've put out a lot and then deleted it. I've put out a lot and then just not happy with the quality, not with the conversation, but just
Yeah.
quality of the production. And I'm a quality whore. It's got
That's
to
how
be
I
good.
am.
It's got to be legitimate. It's got to be clean. So it's like it's just a lot of trial and error. And boy, like I fucking have multiple times thought I was like, we got it. We're there. Just
Yep.
one more thing, man, and we've got everything we need to do this right. And then, well, wait, I'm still getting all this lag and all this latency, and I'm still getting unclear audio. And
Or the curtain. Have you ever had the light
oh,
curtain where it like flashes? Like you think you got a perfect shot, but your
you're talking about
frames.
still shot or
I don't know what it's called, but where the black streaks are coming down across your screen, like you finally got a perfect shot, like something looks perfect, and then you look over and it's like I think they call it like a black curtain or something like that, where
huh?
like your lighting, so when the frequency of the lighting and the camera are like exact, the exact
Like
same,
create some
it
static or some
creates like
shit.
super bad black streaks in your actual
Interesting.
frame. So like I
Yeah, I
always
haven't
check
had
for
that
that.
happen. I mean, like obviously, like I mean, I'm not running like anything that's super super expensive. I mean, the most money spent was absolutely into the PC, just
Oh
because
yeah.
I learned the hard way. That was that was the last thing I upgraded. Should have been the first thing I upgraded,
Yeah.
because having the processing power is what matters. It goes back
Mhm.
to what I say all the fucking time, that like I could be the best tattoo artist in the world, but if I have shit ink, it ain't gonna
Oh
hold. It ain't
yes.
gonna stay. It ain't gonna fucking work. So it's like I should have spent the fucking money on the computer first, and then I could have made it work. Like there's one of those little dinky desktop mics and stuff over there that I started with,
Oh, the Yetis.
and it's like, I upgraded all of this stuff, and made sure that the cameras and the resolution and all the fucking shit was right.
Mhm.
After buying the wrong shit multiple times. And it's like I'm finally just to the point where like I'm afraid to say it. I'm like, I think we're there, but the hardest part is like making sure like devices are out. Like I can hear a little bit of fucking buzz. I usually don't wear the headphones, but I wore them the whole time with Christian, so
Yeah.
like now I'm like in the zone. But like it definitely makes it sound a little bit better, makes you feel a little bit more, clear. But like when I talk, I can hear a little bit of fuzz. And it might be because there's cell phones in the room. Typically, like
Yeah.
rule of thumb, you want to have the phones out. I can kind of like weed that out with post production a little bit, but like it's been a fucking learning process, because even just like you figure out what all works together and what doesn't. I couldn't run two USB cameras at the same time because it was clogging up the bandwidth on the computer. So like one's got to be through the C port, one's got to be on the US. It's like it's just been a bunch of fucking mumbo jumbo. Thankfully, I've been doing media forever, just never broadcasting and streaming. Like
Yeah.
I've been filming since I could hold a camera, so it's like I can produce media, but most of that's been film and then go sit in a cave for 10 days for post production,
Mhm.
and like cutting and trimming shit together, which this is the opposite. All of the legwork is done either before or during with the moderator, and that saves you all the post production, dude. It's like, oh my
Mhm.
god, like I'm gonna take this whole setup out and I'm gonna film my life like this, because I can just go camera one, camera two, camera one, camera two. Fuck filming it both hardwire this way and having to fucking chop it all up and get the timing right. Like I've been fucking filming with three different cameras, trying to do the same thing, or with one camera and have to do the same thing 3 different times to get it right. You know, because when you're riding BMX and shit like that, like, you're lucky if I can land a fucking trick once. You want me to do it again for the second angle?
Let alone to get a better angle of it.
Better have a still shot. The follow cam better be on fucking point. We got to back up over here. It's like, you know, because then I'm going to go home with 3 cameras to dig through the footage and line it all up and put it all together. And it's like, with this, with the moderator, like, I literally have it set up with hotkeys to where, like, I can go camera 1, camera 2. And as we're talking, like, right now I have it on split screen. But all that production is done in real time with changing and layering all the angles and the audio.
That's awesome.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So the only thing I have to do in post is go in there and I guess just make sure the audio quality is good. Like the program I use has a lot of like denoise and a lot of fucking deverb and all that shit that will help me kind of eliminate any hiss or. This is a pretty acoustic environment. Like the attic was the spot for this because like it's pretty good. Yeah, so there's very little to do. I usually don't have to cut out anything crazy that people say.
I've had to cut out some wild shit out of YouTube videos.
Really?
Like being around, I actually stopped. You'll notice in my videos, I stopped recording around all my friends because they would say some of the most absolute out of pocket shit you could ever think of. And I would turn to him, I'm like, buddy, I have a $400 microphone. Of course it picks
it's gonna
that
pick
up.
it up, right? Holy shit!
I know you whispered it 20 feet behind me, but whatever way that microphone is pointing, it's gonna pick that up. And like you'll see, it was like a year ago. I was always recording with my buddies, and then all of a sudden it was just like everyone's out of it but me.
That's so funny, dude.
Yeah,
Because like you gotta watch. I mean, especially because like I said, after a little bit, you kind of get loose and you forget, you know. And like I won't say it, but I had an old guy in here that dropped the N word. I was like. Well, at least I was like, so what's nice is like also, and if I got a couple of different ways I want to do this, but like I would have the moderator do it as we're talking, say like we just talked about this thing and then we switch topics. While we're recording, you can check the timestamp on the recording.
Yeah.
You can say, okay, well, it's 6:15, I got to cut that out. You know what I mean? So that way in post, I can say, okay, well, right there, I need to jump in and maybe snip that. So like I can check it in real time if there's something I can be like, oh, I'm going to take a note of that. You know what I mean? That wasn't so smart to say or something like that. Like, you know, like, so it's like, so.
One thing I learned.
It's pretty sick.
One thing I've.
Do you mind if I smoke a real cigarette here?
No, you're good, dude. One thing I learned with editing and recording and all that is I've made this like cool little talent for myself that when the camera's on, I'm still myself, but very toned down language wise. So I'm not saying a lot of swear words. I'm not saying a lot of. But when it's used in a smart way,
you've kind of coached yourself a little bit because that's how they would do if you're going to be like on a news show. They, you know, like you would have media coaching. That's how you eliminate the ums.
The second that camera is on, I'm still like an excited, funny, like trying to be a charismatic person. But the second the camera's on, that is still there, but the swearing's gone. Like I swear every once in a while to accentuate a point.
Right.
But I never really have like those random F-bombs or anything like that.
And that's a skill. You know, people don't, you know, realize how hard it is to, you know, be aware, but also still be able to project yourself out there because there's a level of professionalism. Because, like, I'll find myself, like, remind myself, I'm like, this is a fucking tattoo shop. I don't have to do that. But, like, depending on who walks in the door, I can flip a switch and it's just like I'm talking to my grandma or something. I'll be like, I can be just as excited and involved and be myself, but at the same time, I can filter and censor myself so that I'm being respectful and aware of who is there or the cameras. You know what I mean? Like,
I would definitely consider that a talent.
But that definitely comes in just, you know, you've obviously come into a life of wanting to be in media. So, I mean, the same thing with me. It's like, boy, like my whole fucking first part of life in media, I don't say anything because I've always been behind the camera.
Yeah.
And I've always done film first and done still stuff as a side thing. You know what I mean? Like I always would have a still on a clicker or something like that to where like while I'm filming, I might get the still or have it on a timer or something. So like the photo is just the bonus. So like I always kept my mouth shut. And like my brother would beat the fuck out of me with his fucking fists if I like interrupted something or you know what I mean, like because I was there to document and to film, and as a filmer, just like if you're filming a wedding, you're not there.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean, like you're literally not there. You're a fucking ghost, you know, and you need to be able to be involved and be close enough to be able to make whoever's watching this feel like they're there without interrupting the natural flow of it.
I will always preach this when you're doing photography for a wedding is wear black. Wear a black shirt, black pants, black shoes, and I make sure all your gear is somewhat black. I have a white lens, so that's kind of hard. But the
That's
darker
interesting.
the darker like your clothes are, the less you're gonna be noticed because everyone's in bright clothes and everyone's looking at the whites. So the white dress and like no one's ever gonna remember you
Dude,
if
that's
you're just
smart. I've
black
never heard
clothes
that.
in the back of the wedding. And I let everyone know, like, hey, I have a black collared shirt that says Solovision Studio on it. I almost
Sick,
wore it, but I
dude.
forgot it.
You
But
gotta be branded right.
yeah, but I always tell them, like, hey, I'm the photographer, but I'm not here. Like, the only time I'm here is when I'm telling you, like, hey, this is a group shot, this is this, and then that's the only time I'm here.
Right.
You're never gonna notice me other than
Do
that.
you shoot any film at all while you're there, or are you just shooting stills?
I'm mainly just shooting stills, but then I'll get like a couple cinematic shots to put together for them just as like
Okay.
a little gift. I never charge them for it because it's
Right,
not my
and see
thing.
that's I mean like it's essentially like just one of those things that's like, well, I'm here anyway, and my camera's in my hand
Yep.
anyway. You know what I mean? So like, and also too, we were just talking about this too, as far as like intellectual property. Yes, you're shooting that for them, but you own that shit. So it's
Yep.
like realistically, like I might be here fucking filming this for you, but I'm getting a bunch of B-roll for my shit.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, so I can get a bunch of stuff that I could use in promotions, that I can use in ads, that I can use in stuff. And like, they sign a form typically that says, "Hey, I have rights to use this."
Yeah.
Essentially,
Like Ozzy Osbourne, this happened like a week ago. He got sued for like $2.3 million for posting a picture of himself because the photographer owned that picture.
you motherfucker! Yep,
I will use that.
all rights reserved.
Yep, I will use that as an example to everybody every time as Ozzy got
Don't matter who
sued.
you are.
Just because you are who is in the picture does not mean you have rights to, because he made money off it. He posted on his Instagram. He made money off of that, and he got sued for all of the money he made off that post plus more because he didn't own the rights to that picture.
Man.
But if he would have just posted on like Snapchat and not made any money on it, yeah, he can't get sued for that.
But I will say, as a fucking artist and as a creator, I mean, Ozzy's one too, but all rights reserved. He had no right.
Mm-hmm.
His rights were reserved. He didn't own that photo. And if he would have reached out to that photographer and said, "Hey,
Oh
man, I
yeah.
got this image. I'd like to post it," you probably wouldn't have asked for a royalty. You'd be like, "Hey, I don't give a fuck, dude. I shot that 10 years ago. Who
Yeah,
gives a
and
shit?"
it was an old picture of him too. It was like
But
5 years old.
if you're scrolling into him, you're like, "That looks like my fucking picture,
Yeah,
motherfucker. What the fuck are you doing?
that's
I
my
ain't making
style.
nothing off of that." So you're gonna call him out. So it's like again, if you have the opportunity, which I mean, he's Ozzy fucking Osbourne. I don't know. He probably don't fucking remember, what he
Oh
did
no.
yesterday. So it's like, and he has the money. He'll be fine.
Oh yeah, he openly stated he doesn't remember 10. Like, have you ever seen The Dirt with Motley Crue?
No, is
Well,
it a documentary?
it's like a document. It's like have you ever seen Bohemian Rhapsody about Queen? It's like
Yeah.
that. It's like just the
Okay.
band's
Movie
life.
essentially, right?
And no, they showed this one poolside where he was on this like all of the Motley Crue members remember this. He doesn't. He was like pitching an idea to them, and just to show how like fucking insane he was, he got down on the side of a pool, like in ground, like hotel pool, and snorted a line of fire ants.
Eh,
And he stood back up and said, "I'm Ozzy fucking Osbourne," and walked away. It's like, dude, that is the craziest shit. And he said he's like, I probably did that. I don't remember.
Probably did that. That's the problem with like being someone like him. You gotta be like, I have to take your word for
Yeah,
it.
he's not somebody I would exactly question because he's done some crazy shit. Like he walked the Moms Against Ozzy Osbourne. You ever heard of that? He joined like they
I mean,
found
I
out.
believe it whenever because
Oh yeah,
he's been around for a long time, so I'm
yeah.
sure whenever he come out when all this satanic shit.
They found out that he was doing a show in their town, and it was like this big Moms Against Ozzy Osbourne, Christian Moms Against Ozzy. That's what it was. And
Where are those moms today?
oh, I don't know, but he found out that they were doing this little rally. He got in the fucking rally. Like he started walking with
He
them.
infiltrated the rally.
Yeah, and none of them recognized him. He walked the whole way to the stadium with them. Walked, and then like when they got to the point where it was like, oh, only press can go past this point, and like
He just
VIPs.
keeps walking.
He kept walking, and they said like, yo, we can't go back there. You're gonna make a bad name for us. And he turned around and looked at him, just smiled, and he said, sorry, I gotta go perform. And he just kept walking, and they flipped shit.
Man, he
Like
should have
it
been
was
like, you're
crazy.
all fucking possessed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, and that's the fucked up part. So like they literally are protesting this fucking dude and have no idea that he's right there. You know what I mean? Like, so how well do you really know what you're protesting against if you don't even recognize
A
them?
lot of these protesters, I don't want to
No,
say
they're like,
too
hey, there's a
much.
bunch of people holding a bunch of signs. That looks fun.
Yeah, I don't want to say too
Fuck
much on
outta
it
here.
because I don't want to anything, but I fucking hate all of these protesters protesting for things that they don't even know what the fuck is going on.
And even if you do really have like a real just reason to be out there, that is not accomplishing anything.
No,
You blocking the street is not fucking saving the planet.
no. The
Yeah.
whole CEO thing that got more accomplished than any of the protests, and I will say
Listen, dude,
that.
I'm not pro murder most of the time, but I don't know how I feel about that. I know there's a lot of people on my friends list that are all for it. They're like, listen, let's, free Luigi. I've been seeing it everywhere, dude. And like, again, it sickens me a little bit. I don't
Yeah.
know this dude that was he was straight assassinated.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was the cleanest, most
Oh,
real
dude,
assassination I've ever seen on tape in the
gun
real world that
jammed,
wasn't a movie.
gun
Like,
jammed. He fixed the jam real quick. No, he.
and there
I
was like a lady coming out of the building right there too, and he just fucking.
I don't know. I'm like 70-30 on that. Like I don't fully agree with it, but at the same time it's just like, well, I mean,
But
karma.
but what confuses me is why was this guy particularly so affected that he's the one? Like, did somebody fucking had him like,
Oh
dude,
yeah.
you should do something. Like, you don't just do that because as far as what I've seen and
Oh,
what's
with the
being released, he had
monopoly
a
money
pretty
too.
pretty clean record. He was a
Yeah.
pretty clean cut kid. I mean, like he wasn't like into some kind of fucking weird organization or some shit. Like somebody I think fucking paid him or something.
No,
I
you
don't know what
gotta.
happened.
So my theory, like, did you hear about all the shit he dropped monopoly money in Times Square and did all that
A
in the
lot of
bag?
symbology in
Yeah.
there.
So what I've like my little theory on that is like he had a grandma or somebody who was fucked over by United Healthcare. Which
Mm.
reminder, they have the highest denying rates of all of healthcare.
Of care, right?
Yeah,
Like
of
you come
care.
in, you absolutely need care.
Hmm.
You're sick, and they say, "Fuck you, we're
They
not
have
helping you."
they have 30% denied rates. So like 30% of people that have been paying them their entire lives to do one job, they just they do everything they
Yeah,
can to
because
get out
that's
of
the
doing that
fucked up
one
thing
job.
about health insurance is that you pay that all the time
Oh yeah.
when you're well, and then when you get sick, they can just turn their back on you.
Yep.
Like, in what other society or business is that okay? That'd be
Well, I
like if
mean,
I just funneled your money out of you for years,
yeah.
and they'd be like, you know what? You need that thing you've been paying for. Man, you're too fucked up now. I don't
I'm
know.
thinking one of his family members got fucked over by United Healthcare, so he just stopped it at its root kind of thing. Like just decided,
I just don't have it in me to understand. Like, I mean, if the system did even fuck my grandma or somebody
oh
like that
no.
over to where they twisted me, I don't think I'd go out there and just say.
Mm-mm.
I mean that was cold blooded
Oh
fucking
yeah.
murder.
Like
I
it
mean,
was.
like it was like a James Bond movie, man. Like I had to watch it over
Yeah,
and
and
over
then the
again, dude.
motherfucker went 3 miles away and flirted with a Starbucks employee. Like, just did you hear about that?
No,
Took the mask
no.
off, ditched it with the Monopoly money, went 3 miles away from where he killed him, and then started flirting with a Starbucks employee.
I
And
mean,
like,
you'd be on a high. Like I can't even imagine.
oh
I
yeah,
mean, people get addicted to drugs. I mean, people obviously get addicted to murder, especially when you're feeling like you're the most justified. Like,
oh yeah,
I would only imagine that he's probably feeling even probably pretty proud about himself even still now.
hmm,
Like I said, like I have friends of mine, and I don't say any names, but like, I mean, fuck, dude. Like they're like, he's posting pictures. I'm thinking he's gonna be the next Luigi. This dude I'm fucking friends with. I shared a fucking garage. I lived in a garage with this dude
hmm,
at Ben's backyard out in Santa Ana, California. He's a phenomenal BMX rider, but he doesn't ride BMX anymore. He just gets fucking wasted and creates beautiful works of art. He does beautiful works of art, but he's been drawing a lot of fucking Luigi stuff, and he's been
oh,
posting pictures of machine guns a lot, and saying we need another and he's absolutely fucking anti-Trump. He posts a lot of this stuff, kill Elon shit. Like, it's
oh,
like, man, like, dude, if you only knew how offended, I mean, like, not necessarily offended, to each his own. If that's really how you feel, I mean, I guess Facebook is a good place to post it. I don't know why people chose to,
mm.
because you're painting a weird picture,
You're going
you
down like
know.
the new Joker movie of Kill the Rich. You know what
Oh,
I'm
it's
talking
like if
about?
I'm noticing how fucking, like, off the edge you kind of are coming off, there's probably an algorithm that's smarter than me that might be catching it. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
if I really felt that way, I don't think I'd be fucking promoting it on my Facebook wall,
No.
dude. It's just weird. Like I said, like I love this dude. I lived with him for a long time, but I'm like, this is a little scary.
Yeah.
And like I would never even in a million years tell him I voted for Trump. He would fucking block me
Oh
immediately, dude.
yeah.
I mean, and I've known him for years.
So the closest thing to that of like killing a CEO I've ever been is I don't even know if like it's safe to say this, but I've had this idea for the longest time, and I just think it's hilarious.
We're allowed to have fucked up ideas.
Yeah. Do you know what Scientology is?
Oh yeah.
Well, like that's why I don't think I'm allowed to say this because like they're fucked up people.
If they come find us, we've got a larger reach than I realized.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. It's like delete all my social media, delete everything I've ever posted online, and then go to Scientology. Like everyone gets accepted. Like everyone gets in.
Well, yeah, anybody that'll fucking drink the Kool-Aid,
Yeah.
they want to build
Oh
the fucking
yeah.
numbers.
Put glasses on, like the meta glasses. Like have secret cameras, secret people outside of base, like outside of their actual HQ.
He wants to diddle them.
And genuinely infiltrate all of Scientology, so I really know all of the fucked up things they're doing. And then after like 2 or 3 years of this, like,
I think it would take longer though.
But
it's deep.
Yeah, I know.
Holy
but
fuck.
After, maybe not. Maybe
Did
4
you
or
see
5
that
years.
fucking Leah, whatever the fuck her name is? I'm sure you remember the sitcom King of Queens. It had that fat King James or fucking whatever the fucking name is.
Kevin James.
Kevin James.
Okay.
King James. King James Bible, Second Testament. Read it. But that girl, Leah Remy or whatever, she was deep. She was all the way in. I mean, she was
drinking the Kool-Aid.
Full of the Kool-Aid. She was making the Kool-Aid. She was like higher up. She was like a fucking official. Like I'm telling you, I could fucking pull it up because I'm telling you what, like her stories, because she wanted to get out. She realized that it was fucked up and like they were controlling her.
It's a straight up cult.
And when she went to get out, they said no. Like they were absolutely against it. And like, I mean, I'm surprised that they didn't fucking kill her because she went on to Rogan and she spoke openly about all this and wrote a fucking book and left Hollywood. Like,
I've seen things where people in Scientology that have got out have openly stated that it's easier to get out of the mafia than to get out of Scientology, which is a crazy comparison.
But the mafia might be scary and strong and might fucking rub you out, but the people that are involved in Scientology are fucking billionaires. Absolutely the most powerful and some of the most wealthy people in the world. And now that we're learning all of this about how deeply connected Hollywood is to fucking the Democratic Party and all this stuff, it's like, man, we thought we fucking had an idea of like what a conspiracy was, dude, but like every day it's like this is no bullshit. Like everything that everybody speculated and was telling you that you're crazy for, it's like, man, everything's true and it's so much worse than what we thought. Because like with the Epstein, the Diddy thing,
it's all starting to come out.
Even Vince McMahon. I mean, like you think about all these multi-billionaires, all kind of involved in the same kind of sexual enslaving and blackmailing and hush money and all that shit. It's probably all essentially going to the same people.
One thing that everyone's starting to learn too is like if you got enough money, jail doesn't exist.
You can just pay people off.
If you got enough money, prison doesn't exist.
But it's no different on any scale. We're just talking about a matter of scale. I mean, like I could sit around and fucking swing big dick power around here if I really wanted to, and like I've been accused of it just because it's like people know that when you're in a position to offer somebody something that either they can't get or they can't afford, and I can offer to you for free. It's just like drugs. So there's plenty of fucking drug dealers that fucking enslave girls because they know they're addicted and they can only get it if they fucking sex them out.
Yeah.
It's like it's the same thing. It's just different fucking tiers of power, I think. And it's like with the Epstein thing, that they're learning that with the U.S. aid, they sent so much money directly and knowingly to the fucking Taliban and to the Mexican cartel. And they also know, well, I guess the Mexican cartel, I'll correct myself on this, is getting the money indirectly because what they found out, because you just keep following the money. There's a paper trail of all of it. They literally are funding this war in fucking Ukraine. They're giving all these weapons to Ukraine, and then they're selling it to the Mexican cartel. So, like, we're literally sending all this fucking military firepower across the fucking country for them to fight Russia, which is a terrible idea in my mind.
Yeah.
And then they're selling it to the cartel that is using those weaponry to fight and fucking channel, sex trafficking, human trafficking,
so they're
fentanyl.
So they're basically just using that war as a third party
It's a
to ship it
fucking,
over.
it's a criminal fucking enterprise ring of fucking
Oh yeah.
bullshit.
That's
It's
one thing
like,
I've never understood is like the absolute fucking fossils that are in government. It's
and
just like,
forever, just
dude,
forever.
I mean, legitimate, just troglodyte fossils that are in our government is insane.
Well,
And
and
I don't like talking about it an insane amount just because like I don't know everything. I don't
it
know
gets
everything about
tiresome.
it.
And right, we don't know anything. Right.
So like I don't like talking that much about it just because I don't like talking about things I don't know about. So I don't want to say something and then sound like a fucking idiot because of it. So like I just kind of keep my hand out of it. I know I'm not going to change anything about
Well,
it.
and
So
you know, at the same time too, is like that what you're saying is only really as valuable as the person that's receiving it too,
mhm.
because like I could get 3 words out of my mouth and I've inflamed somebody that disagrees just because of some minor
Oh,
detail, and
yeah.
then they haven't heard anything that I've said. So like I only open up to people that I've through communication or being around them understood that like they're receptive to maybe different ideas, maybe different opinions, because I don't know anything either. So what I do is that I get my sources everywhere. I mean, like between any news, any social media, anything like that. I mean, like all I can do is gather information, put pieces together. I know I'm not a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
I might not be savvy to all things politics and how things work overseas and shit, but like I can fucking put two and two together,
Yeah.
and when like something doesn't smell right, it's pretty easy to tell. And like I was lucky enough to grow up with a very fucking conspiracy fucking driven dad,
Mhm.
right wing. I mean, like he never trusted the government. To this day, he doesn't have a fucking photo ID. He's
Oh, yeah.
fucking 60 years old. He's never had a driver's license,
Hmm.
nothing. He doesn't want the government to know what he looks like, nothing.
Hmm.
He don't give a fuck, dude. I mean, like he literally is not on fucking paper, and like he just has never trusted the government. And it's like I always just thought my dad was nuts,
Yeah.
and it's like holy fuck, all of the stuff that he's been talking about for my entire life is like turned out to be either be true or he just had a little fragment of an idea of how bad it
Mhm.
was because like now you start to realize like everything is kind of fabricated and kind of put in place to give us a certain idea of what things really are.
Yeah.
And it's only been until just recent that because of independent media and literally anybody can have a voice. Somebody could fucking go into Walmart tomorrow and buy a microphone and start a channel and fucking tell the truth
Mhm.
or tell a lie. So it's like
And
it's
anyone would either believe it or hate on it. No matter if it's true or false, someone's going to believe it and someone's going to hate on it and say it's completely false.
and plenty of people hate it. Like I talk to people that are like still in the boomers generation that are like, in their late 60s or whatever, like they still believe the media. Oh, it's probably fucking Laura.
Oh.
But they still cling to the media. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
The news is where you get your information. You just sit there, and like he hates that Trump fake news, fake news. It's like okay, well I get you don't like the trigger word fake news, okay, but let's look at it, okay? How many fucking times have they fucking projected wrong or just flat out lies? I mean, like so. Maybe fake's not the word, but I would call it untrustworthy news
I
or dishonest news,
I just call it
biased.
everything they say. Put some common sense into it.
you know but you need all of it, like you
Mm.
need both sides of it, like, and that's where like I would rather have it be like the Wild West and everybody can fucking talk about it and everybody can discuss it. You can
Yep.
either agree or disagree. You can shut it off or you can watch it. It's like
Yeah, I'm so neutral that none of it even matters to me. Cause like I don't care. I just want to do my own thing.
right,
But I'll listen to whoever has to say. And when people get mad about conversations that I'm just listening to, it's genuinely one of my biggest pet peeves. Is like getting mad about a conversation that I'm like genuinely just listening to you about.
right.
It's just like I know you're getting fired up. You like this topic, but it's not worth it. It's not worth the stress that you're putting under yourself.
Well, you're not forcing anybody else to listen to it,
Oh yeah, I don't
you
care.
know, because like I said, I mean, realistically, like if you're in the middle, you can see things that make sense on both sides.
Hmm.
And I say it a lot, but like anybody that's like on the far left and just anti-Trump, no matter what he does, if you're on the far left, everything to the right of you is going to look fucking far right or
That's
extreme right.
yep.
You
I've
know what I mean?
always
Like
thought that.
it's a matter of fucking physics. If I'm in the middle, I can see both sides pretty balanced. Like I
Yeah,
said, there's a ton of stuff that he does or the Republicans have done or whatever that I don't agree with or that I don't even fucking know about
yeah.
because I only commit like a 1% of my life to this information.
If that, yeah,
Because, like you said, I mean, as long as you can sit down at the end of the day and say, "Hey, I'm doing what I want to do," and it's not that difficult. You know, we all have issues. Like, I see it affecting business because we have a brick and mortar, we have overhead with, you know, the utilities and stuff. Like, a lot of people don't realize that, like, the electric that I get at my house and the electric that I get at the shop is the exact same electric.
Mm-hmm.
It's the exact same fucking company. It's coming from the exact same place.
Yeah.
It's traveling the exact same distance, maybe by a foot, but the speed of light and electricity,
It
and
doesn't matter that
it's
much.
3 times more. My electric bill at the shop is 3 times more because the rate is 3 times higher.
Because
You
it's a
know, and
business?
it might not be 3 times higher, and that's exactly right. It's because this is residential electric, this is commercial. But it's the same fucking electricity. It doesn't make any sense at all. And it's the same thing with the gas, it's the same thing
Yeah.
with the water. Internet, they still charge you more for business internet because it's better. It's the same fucking internet.
Yeah.
Like, I know how to sell, you know, I know how to sell shit. You
Yeah,
know,
I've always had this big dream of owning a warehouse and like living in this little part of it, but having the rest be like just for videos, just for like go-kart drifting
like a studio.
yeah, and building like ridiculous shit inside, like a fucking Miata with an
What the
LS
fuck
in
was
it.
that guy's name?
Like just
You probably grew up in the generation of like Unspeakable, that YouTuber.
mm,
He had something like that, dude. And I was like, man, that's what you do
yeah,
with the money,
I grew up with
you
these
know.
guys,
So you like, oh, Life Wide Open.
Sea Boys, yeah.
Oh,
I've
nice.
been watching them forever. They just buy these big giant ass warehouses, make them look the way they want them to look, and they'll build ridiculous shit out of them. And that is like my dream.
Yeah, man, and just have fun, dude. Especially
Mm.
like because like doing that is content. You know what I mean?
Oh
So
yeah,
it's like that's the beauty of the era that we live in. Like, I could literally have a YouTube channel of me just going and buying shit at Goodwill and reselling it.
I
You
actually
know,
watch
like,
videos like that on TikTok. It's
and
insane.
I would do the same thing. I fucking watch this dude who fucking he literally spends no money. I mean, he has paint and stuff already, but you know, so like essentially no money, all salvaged scrap, and he
Hmm.
builds these fucking houses, dude. And these are like beautiful fucking houses, but they're like this big,
Hmm.
and it's all out of cardboard. And like
Hmm.
sometimes he'll use like that really thin styrofoam sheet that they give you with some kind of packaging, like for shingles and stuff. But like literally the entire fucking thing is on a thick styrofoam block, but then the rest of it's just cardboard and hot glued together. And he fucking does siding and painting, and he does little lights. He wires little like uses fairy lights and
Oh,
fucking puts them in the doorbell. And
I've seen that. I've
I'm
seen
like,
that
oh my
before.
fucking god, dude! I would do
Yeah,
this all day long if I just had an extra couple hours.
yeah. I've seen that before. I've seen
It's
it
so
on TikTok.
fascinating.
Yeah,
I'm like, not only would I enjoy just doing this, because here I am watching this for a fucking hour, watching
yeah,
this guy build this little fucking house.
yeah.
I'm like, and it's all out of cardboard. I was like, I have a pile of cardboard right there I was going to throw away. I can make one right now. All right, so real quick, I just want to give a huge shout out to us. You know, you got to pat yourself on the back sometimes. So I just want to encourage anybody to check out Black City Tattoo if you are out in the local area. If you're not, we do offer some apparel and some products online, but I encourage you again, if you're in the local area, stop by. Let us do something custom, something creative for you, whether it's something small or large. We're happy to help you, and we're always available. So please check out Black City Tattoo, St. Mary's, PA.
I can do this.
I'm like, and then I can film it, and then I'll have, you know, what I mean, I'm like,
Yeah,
so like everything that you enjoy doing now can be now content if
yeah.
you choose to share it. You know,
That's
it's
one
like,
thing that like I've always considered a little unhealthy about myself is everything is just a YouTube video. Oh, I can make I can make a YouTube video out of this. Oh, I'm
everybody's like, why do you gotta fucking film everything?
yeah.
I'm
That's
like, it's fucking my life, dude. Back off.
dude. That's been the motto of my entire life. The main thing I've heard every single time I go anywhere is, "Why do you have a camera? Why are you
Yes,
recording
dude.
this?" It's like I don't know. It's my dream. I like
Well, and like it goes back to like I said. I mean, like no matter what I'm doing, I'm like this is all B-roll for something.
mm,
I
oh
have no
yeah,
idea because I mean, like at the end of my life, I mean, I've already started putting it together because I'm conscious of these things, and we're lucky enough to have a third eye.
yep.
So it's like I'm gonna have a documentary by the time I get done, dude. Because I do a lot of shit, and a lot of shit people
Yeah.
don't even get to see. A lot of shit that I don't have time to actually fully produce and put out and share
Mm,
with the world. Some stuff I just keep to myself. But I know that eventually after so many decades that I'm gonna put everything together. I
yeah.
have just I mean stacks and stacks and stacks and just years of stuff, and it's like man to have like an anthology. Like I just imagine like just a time lapse of the last 30 years. You know what I mean? And just be able to look back on things that you know produced and created, because some of it I don't keep as a tangible thing. It's like
Yeah.
now with a picture, I don't have a physical picture. It's on media, so it's like to make it into something, to where it could at least sit on a fucking server somewhere, dude. 30,000 years after the world ends, and it's like
It's
just sitting.
still on there.
It's like I just want to be able to put it all together and say this is what I've done,
Yeah,
over
yeah.
the last, whatever.
That's why I want to help as many people record as possible. Like, I want to help you with B-roll because, like, I got so much fucking camera equipment, like,
Right.
between gimbals and everything, like, and I'm still buying more. It's like I got a package coming in tomorrow for I might just bought a new 7D,
Oh,
which is
nice, dude.
a downgrade from my camera, but
But
it came with a 70 to 200 f2.8 lens, so I bought it, and it just came with the lens.
So I'm a little out of touch. I mean, like I haven't been like putting money and investing in film equipment since like the VX days. So
Mhm.
it's been a while. I mean, like I can essentially use anything that records video. Like I've told people, listen, I could come to your fucking whatever, and I could shoot you the most professional photos ever on a fucking disposable camera.
Yeah.
Because I have the eye and I
Yep.
have the talent, I have the perspective. It does not really matter about the equipment. It's about the artist and
Yeah.
using what you got. So for most of my life, I've never really had a whole lot of expensive or high end equipment.
Mhm.
So I'm a little bit out of touch about like a lot of the specs, but I
Okay.
can use just about fucking anything.
Oh no, that's my favorite.
And that's the best part about it is like literally no matter what you're working with, like you can essentially do anything. Like I said, I mean like we have so many different things that will kind of cross over and overlap because I mean I've got fucking 25, 30 years of filming experience and video
Mhm.
production, and doing all this stuff to where like if you need a cameraman, dude, like I have just as much excitement, if not more, filming than I do doing the thing that I want someone to film me doing.
I've needed a cameraman for a couple different occasions, and there's been.
In film, we're talking. I mean, like I can
Mm,
shoot still photos all day, but that I don't get excited about shooting stills very much
yeah,
anymore. But film, it's
I've
cinematic
needed
film.
I've like for my YouTube channel. There's been a couple times where I like, damn, a filmer would be really fucking nice right now. But then I try to text my one dude who I pay to come up here, Ethan, and he doesn't come up here because like he's scared of guns. Why do you want to be included with a hunting YouTube channel if you are
I was like,
scared
well,
of
wait, who's
guns?
fucking pointing a gun at him? I
Oh
forgot.
no,
I don't know
no,
what your
no.
channel is. So give us a
Like,
little background about your channel.
so my channel is basically just cars, hunting, YouTube. I mean anything you can do outside. Like my favorite thing is hunting and cars. Those are my two favorite things on planet Earth. And like I don't do much fishing anymore. I actually snapped my pole over my leg last year because of how pissed off I
Oh
threw all my
no,
shit away.
fishing's a tough one. You gotta have a
Yeah,
lot of patience for that one.
but like I just gave up on that. But my whole YouTube channel is just hunting and cars and just outside shit, like
Right,
going on
just
5Ks
and just
and
like we talked about before, just like outside with the boys, having a good time.
yeah.
I mean, really, no matter what it is, because like it used to be like I remember like my days, my favorite days is just like, and I don't even know like, is it offensive to use the word redneck? No.
Oh hell no.
You know what I mean? So it's like, because I was talking about it the other day, I was like, man, I miss having fucking redneck friends, man, because like there's times where I'm like, fuck, dude, I don't know what to do. And they're like, I'll fix it. Give me that shit.
Oh yeah,
You
we're the
know, like,
best.
I got a fucking tweezer and I got a fucking bread tie. And I like,
Yeah,
it's like,
I
and they're also the most fun. So it's like, anything with wheels, man, like we'll fucking drive it, jump it, wreck it, fucking crash. It's like, so it's
oh
just
dude,
like,
I've
you
rolled
never knew
Jeeps
what you were getting
before.
into with
Yeah.
those guys.
My favorite thing on planet Earth is my best friend, like Eric Panabianco. I'll say his name because he's my best friend. He's been like day one. We have pictures back
Down the
in
ride.
in kindergarten, and growing up with him was so fucking funny because he's like more like, oh, I need this chain, I need to do this, I need to. But then he'll go hang out with me and my buddy Caden, and we'll just rip trucks down a back road on icy roads at 40 going sideways, like. Or we'll be up at a fire trying to break a couch in half, just trying to jump on it to throw it onto the fire, like things like that. And some of he kind of got tainted to it after a while, but like in like the early days when it was like 9th, 10th grade, it was like, what the fuck are you guys doing? You're shooting Roman candles at each other. And
There's
like,
always that one
yeah,
friend that's like, this is not a good idea.
yeah, like me and like we would go up just real dark, go up. My buddy had a really big yard. So we'd go up there, have a fire, and then we'd, after drinking a little bit of apple juice, we would go up into the yard and shoot Roman candles at each other.
Man.
You'd get smoked in the chest, and then you'd have one flying at your face. You got to duck before yours goes off again because you got 6 shots. Like it was, and he would always be sitting down at the fire like, wow, you guys are fucking stupid.
Still down to ride. Still
Oh,
fucking hung out. Like,
absolutely. Like
at least you had a voice of reason. Like, you always need that one friend.
oh yeah, we snuck out together. We went on like a 3-hour ride in my old truck the one time. We snuck out of his mom's house, rolled my truck down the hill, and then like bump started it just because it was super fucking loud. So we rolled it down the hill to the point where her house wouldn't hear it, and then we started it.
Right.
And then
See,
we went out.
a lot of kids don't know. See, that's the benefit of having a fucking 5-speed. You know, like literally, like I don't know how many times I fucking pushed a coasted vehicle, like just put it in neutral, man, and just push it out of the driveway.
We would roll it down the hill,
That's
and
so
then
sick.
it was like midnight, and then we were coming back at like 4. We weren't like partying. We were just out,
Just having fun.
just spotlighting, just looking at deer. Like, hey, there's one, and then we would go along with our day. And as we just got back into service, his phone rings, and then he looks down. He has like 13 missed calls from his mom.
Oh no.
And his mom is the sweetest person on planet Earth. Never heard her get mad before. And he answered the phone on speaker. You get your fucking ass home now. And he's just like, okay. And he's never really been in trouble with his mom, so I was laughing about it. And he's sitting there like shaking. And I was like, oh, we're good, dude. You just get home, get a slap on the wrist, go to bed. He did not get a slap on the wrist. It was like we were 17, like we were out past curfew and all that, and she was so mad at him.
You could have been killed.
Yeah, we were just on the back. I think we saw one car the entire night, and he was in so much trouble. And then after that, I was always deemed as the bad influence, and I was like, I don't know why I'm a bad influence. I just wanted to go on a car ride.
Yeah, that's tough. You know, like when you have more freedom than other kids, like because I was that kid for most of my friends too. Like, but like when I grew up, like I was super into backyard wrestling. So like my friends would come over and I would just beat
Like
the shit out of them,
beefs?
dude. Like seriously, like I like was getting fucking seriously, and my mom can confirm this. I got a steel ladder for Christmas for wrestling out in the backyard with my friends. We had a wrestling ring built and everything. Like it was the shit, dude.
Yeah.
Like we had thumbtack matches and everything. Like, dude, we fucking didn't give a fuck about getting hurt, dude. We
Yeah.
were like fucking 13, 14 years old. Nowadays, my mom would have been in fucking jail. We're out there hitting each other with fucking steel chairs and shit, dude. Like wrestling's not fake.
Yeah. I was like 10 when I found out that you could take the like hard rubber plastic inserts out of Nerf darts and put a thumbtack into it.
Ooh.
And my uncle walked into my mom's house the one time, and I counted the Nerf darts, like 1, 2, 3 thumbtack. And I shot 3 at him, and I went, you think that's cool? And I turned to the wall and I shot it, and it stuck into the wall. And my uncle just looks at me and goes, what the fuck are you doing? It was the funniest thing because my mom always had different shaped thumbtacks, so they would legit fit into a Nerf dart perfect.
Right.
And I was like, it was meant for it. There's no way they didn't intend.
Ones, right.
Yeah.
They knew what they were doing.
Oh, absolutely. It fit into a Nerf dart.
It was fun being fucking young and indestructible. I used to just staple shit to my skin in school. You know what I mean? Like with the classroom staplers.
Yep.
Fucking, that was like during the Jackass era, though. Like, I mean, that shit was just happening everywhere.
Yeah.
Kids were out of control.
Me and my buddy got the mini staplers you can buy. Me and him got those banned at Ridgeway Area High School. I don't know if they're still banned, but like we would have these wars where like I had one and he had one. We would go throughout the day and like there like certain classes are truces, but you can still kind of get someone in the truce, and like you just walk up and right onto their leg, there'd be a staple. And then there would be like this moment of like them trying not to yell while they're like we're taking a test or something, and then
because then you're both fucked.
Yeah, just trying to pull this staple out of his leg, and then finally like I don't remember what happened, but I think we were in lunch and I stapled him, and then we both got called down to the office, and then we got him banned. I don't know if they're still banned, but it was funny.
I got gel pens. When gel pens hit the fucking market, everybody was a fucking fanatic with them. All the girlies were coloring their fucking notebooks and shit.
Oh,
you know what I was doing with them? Eating them. I was breaking them open and pouring the glitter shit in my mouth and going, yep, nobody's allowed to have gel pens anymore. Fuck, Rhett, thanks, dickhead. That was hilarious, but you dick.
There's this one video of me, and I pray to God it never surfaces because it was fucking funny as hell. I think I was like 16, and I had my phone in the shower because I always watched YouTube, but I would Snapchat people back. And I grabbed my phone, and my buddy just sent me like probably a fucked up snap or something. And I grabbed my phone, and I held it like this right here, and I took my shampoo, and I went like this, and then I like probably like filled my mouth up with shampoo just for a video, spit it out, and then I typed, after hearing what you just said, I had to wash my own mouth out with soap, and he saved it, and I pray to fucking God that video never sees the light of day because it was in the moment.
Somebody find it.
It was in the moment. It was hilarious, but like now that I'm thinking back on it, I'm like, ooh, if I ever do get a social media following, that's gonna be really funny when it surfaces.
You can almost taste the fucking. I don't even know what it would have been.
It was Axe. It was
Old,
Axe too.
I was gonna say Old Spice.
Oh, it was Axe. It was back when like Axe. Everyone thought Axe smelled good, but it really didn't. If you're an adult that still wears Axe.
Hopefully it wasn't Phoenix. That's the worst smelling one they ever made.
Oh fuck, that was my favorite one. I had the spray, the shampoo, and the body wash for
It's
Phoenix.
so good you can drink it.
No, I just the Phoenix was like my only one. Phoenix and the brown one were my favorites.
The brown one was good. That was a chocolate one or some shit like that.
Wasn't it just there was one that was just called brown?
Oh really?
Yeah, I think it was just called brown.
I switched. Tag was one that I started wearing, and they were like the first ones that had the fucking locking top. You know, like when Tag came out, and like actually there was this one too. Like I don't even remember PacSun. Used to be the sickest fucking store, dude. PacSun, it was short for Pacific Sun, but it was like a surfer California vibe store, and they had it on the East Coast and shit over here. But like that's where you could get Vans and Etnies and. Oh my god, these motherfuckers loved me. I come in there, I'm a homie. So like I'd come in, I'd fucking get a bunch of free stickers and shit, because they would pull all the stickers out of the shoe boxes and stuff when the orders came in. I'd come in and fucking get all these stickers and shit. But like that store was this. What were you just fucking talking about? I lost my train of thought. Damn it.
Shampoo.
Oh, they had this shit, and it was called Vert. Mm-hmm. And I've looked it up since then, like decades later, and they don't make it anymore. But it was like the best smelling stuff. Because a lot of that shit's overpowering.
Yeah.
And smells too much like a chemical. You know, like, but yeah, it was called Vert. It was sick. It was in like a green bottle, and then they changed it to a glass bottle. Like, it was fucking sick, dude. Bring back Vert.
I paid a decent amount of money for it, but I got a new cologne the other day. It's Lamborghini branded cologne.
Oh, how much did you spend on that?
I actually didn't spend as much as I thought I was. It was like $46, and it wasn't that bad.
But that's an expensive. I mean, for smell, how big is the fucking bottle?
It's probably like that big.
That's what pisses me off. Is like they sell it, and like I'll pay it if it smells good, because it's hard to find something that smells good and it's not intoxicating. But why do you got to put it in a bottle like that? Like, so I'm still like I found this stuff now. It's in an aerosol, but it's called Vintage Black, and. You know, I'm vintage black, so it's like it's just too fitting. I mean, so like I'm big on branding.
Yeah,
I'm vintage and I'm part black, so it's like just the Black City part, just the black ink. I'm a colored person. You got red, yellow, but he's not colored. He's part black. Small percentage of him. Got a little black in him.
I got a G-Shock. Does that count?
G-Shock? That sounds like a watch.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay. I was like, that's either a watch or a vibrator. I don't know what that is.
I was going to say, that might be too far of a joke.
I don't know what the kids are using these days.
It's actually both.
Boy, the kids got the G-Shock.
But, no, I'd say that all the time. G-Shocks are brought up in a lot of, like, rap. So I always say that as a joke, yeah. I don't remember. I think it's Polo G that brings up G-Shock all the time.
He probably has an endorsement.
I bet he needs a photographer.
Probably, dude. That's one thing, like, I will say that, though, like, because it's hard to film at a show. I used to do a lot of roadieing with, like, all my friends have always been in bands and stuff, and, like, used to roadie with them, like, up to New York and stuff like that, and, like, pack, like, 6 or 7 bands, all of the equipment, and then everybody that wants to go to the show in a fucking van and go. And, like, I was always the media guy anyway, so it's like, listen, none of you motherfuckers would even take a single photo. Like... Where do you get your album artwork from? Like, not a single... I mean, granted, too, this is before everybody had a cell phone camera, too. So, like, you were only taking pictures with a real camera. So, most people just didn't have a real camera. And, again, being the odd one out that, like, you always have a camera. So, it's like, well, you know what? Like, not only am I going to go and have a good time and be at the show, but, like, dude, like, take me with you to shoot photos. Like, because... shooting music and just really any live event, dude, is something that, like, that's consistent work, you know, and that's where, like, you know, to call them out, the places that are around here that have so much potential to do cool shit, do a poor job of promoting it, and if they were smart and were able to have a little bit more overhead and a little bit more budget to put on cool events, they could pay a photographer, they could pay a promoter, They could pay someone that was going to come in there and film it and maybe put it on social media and chop it up and make it into content for the next month to hold you over to the next event.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a whole side thing. Promoters a business, photographers a business, everybody's getting paid, their location's getting set up. They just bought the house next to the venue, and it's going to be a bed and breakfast. But tell me, who in the fuck in town is going to stay at a bed and breakfast? Everybody that lives here already has a place to sleep.
It's not like we're in a fucking vacation home or
you
anything like that.
You have to have something to bring people in. Because I run a tattoo shop. I see a lot of people. Most of them are young and fairly fucking hip and know what is going on and want to be entertained. And I can guarantee you that 98% of them, when they want to do something fun, leave town.
Oh, we do.
You know, so
we
it's
do,
like,
100%.
and I forget that you're younger than me too. So it's like, that's what I mean. Like talking to all these people that are the youth and the people that could really make this town awesome. They leave town to do something fun.
Yeah.
You know, and there's nothing drawing, you know, anybody to come in that don't already know about it. And, you know, if you're not able to even just keep the people that live here, you know, like, so it's like you got to do things differently, you know, and like I have a whole fucking proposal. Like, it's like a whole proposal, you know.
I couldn't tell you how many NFL players, how many musicians I've contacted, like trying to text, like on Instagram and Facebook and things like that. Of like, hey, if you ever need a photographer, like it's a lot more formal than this, but it's like, hey, if you ever need a photographer, I'm down.
And I love that it can be so direct and so informal too, because like before I lived with a lot of these dudes, like I was like, wait a minute, I can just send this motherfucker a message.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, I could just say, well, you know what, like, hey, I'm just gonna put this out there, and if he happens to see it in the billions of other messages he probably has, who knows? You know what I mean? Like you're putting something out there, and you know, I mean, you're hoping for the best. You know, you can only hope that, you know, at some point down the road you'd get, you know, some feedback or some.
There was only one thing that I tried to do like publicly for, I think it's like honestly like 6 months. I kept making videos about it because I wanted to box Tanner Fox so bad.
Who's that?
Just a YouTuber. Like,
oh, okay. Is he boxed it? Is he?
Oh fuck no.
Okay.
I'm like, I used to be a fan of him, but now he's just a little fucking punk.
Right.
And I'm not joking. He's like 5'4", 140. He would never get in a ring with me.
Well, it's a good play though. I mean, like I said, because I mean, you might not be someone that you know, he knows, but I mean, like you start calling somebody out.
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
I mean, like eventually it's gonna get to him.
I publicly called him out in front of. I got thousands of views on those videos too, and like I will continue to publicly call him out until he either formally rejects me or I step into a ring with him.
Right.
Because like and somehow, Tanner Fox, if you're watching this, I know you have 10 million subs, but if you ever want to box somebody, I will beat the ever-living piss out of you. I just wanted to say that.
And I would promote it. And I would ref it. I will fucking referee it.
Dude, I'll
call the fight. We got a whole production team here.
Yeah, I made videos. I was like, hey, we don't even have to record it, so you don't get embarrassed in front of millions of people. Like, I don't care what it takes. Like, I'll get into the ring with you. And he obviously probably never even saw it, but it was one of those things where I'm like, hey, I can say this dude's name, get views, and then hopefully someday actually step into a ring. And that's my thing is like, don't talk all that shit if you're not going to walk the line with it. And
well, yeah, you're obviously fully prepared to make it happen if it would ever come to light, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally get that. I mean, like, and it's like I said, it's a smart play. I mean, like, you could essentially say that, you know, Jake Paul kind of, you know, did the same thing with the same transition to where, like, I mean, he obviously had a giant following already.
He is a unit.
And I never knew of him in YouTube land. You know, I've only ever known him as a boxer still. I mean, there was obviously a whole generation of people that grew up watching him before he ever dreamed of being a boxer.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, was he ever, like, super fit, super healthy? Like, was he just, like...
Him and his brother were I believe, both of them. Oh, it was
both of them?
Yeah, they were both D1 football players.
Like, okay.
They were like serious football players. And I don't think he was as much... He was more of a wrestler, but Logan was, like, a fucking unit inside linebacker. And, like, I've heard this, like, through he's never, like, publicly said it, but you know how that works. Like, D1, you're that big of a football player, everyone's going to find out.
Right.
And I've always heard it through the grapevine that Jake was the wrestler and Logan was just a big football player. And then it transitioned to them going to college, or like a community college, realizing that they're not going to make it in what they originally wanted. They both dropped out of college within the first month of being there, and then they just started making videos, like doing what they wanted to do, and it worked out for him. And Logan's obviously still super fit, still super like jacked dude.
Well, yeah, because he started boxing, right? Or was he in MMA first?
No, he was the one that led the charge with YouTuber boxing, because him and KSI.
So he was boxing other YouTubers then.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, okay,
he was,
I didn't know that.
Him and KSI had this beef for the longest time.
Nah.
They now own Prime together, but I don't know. He and KSI led the charge of like YouTube, because no one was doing it before them.
Right.
And then they stepped into the ring. Logan obviously lost, and then after that, it was just like every other YouTuber wanted to be a boxer, and like everyone was training to be a boxer, and it's just like, you guys are not fit to be boxers like Logan and KSI.
No, but
and
like,
Jake
I mean, it's cool though that like literally YouTube has become an avenue for someone that otherwise would have had to enter into like sanctioned boxing, go through the fucking ranks, be a nobody for who knows how long. And I mean, like, obviously, into the term, like, whether they're professional boxers has obviously been up for debate too. Because I mean, like, I like to just play both sides too. Because like at the same time, like, I don't know if we're talking about Jake Paul, if he's ever boxed a real legitimate boxer in his weight class and all that, like,
not one that wasn't like 40 years old or 50, 60 years old.
So it's hard for me to respect, like, because I know, like, fighting Nate Diaz, man, like, you're fighting him handicapped, dude. That motherfucker would have choked you out in 10 fucking seconds.
It's just like the McGregor
I don't like the gimmicky feel of the stuff. It's like, I see that you're strong, and I mean, like, his fucking boxing has definitely gotten better.
Yeah.
But he's teeing off on a lot of these guys that really have no business of being in there in the first place.
Yeah.
To where he essentially has more skill boxing than they do.
The way that I look at it is the day that he fights and beats an actual professional boxer that is in his weight class, that is like
well, he fought one, right? He fought somebody and lost, right? Who did he fight that was... I'm going to grab that fucking drink unless you want to hand it to me over there.
I got you.
But I thought he fought somebody that was in his weight class, or someone that was an actual boxer, and he lost. Who did he get them cigarettes to? Oh, did he get knocked out by anybody?
I don't believe he's been knocked out. I don't believe he's been knocked out before. I think it was TKO.
Technical knockout.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever been out cold before.
I used to think that.
I don't know.
Totally
I don't keep up with him too serious. I watch Logan's YouTube channel, but I don't keep up with Jake too seriously.
And you've been watching that obviously since before all of the spectacle. I mean, like,
way before.
He's in WWE right now, right, Logan?
Yeah, he's huge in WWE. Yeah,
I thought so. And again, everybody shits on him. I mean, like, whether you respect how he got into the business, I mean, he's fucking doing it. You know what I mean? And like, he's being received by the audience of wrestling. So it's like, it's for them to decide. If you don't fucking like wrestling, you're probably not gonna like him.
That's my thing. I've been watching Logan since he was in his first apartment.
And they're heels anyway. They want you to not like them. That's the whole persona too. It's like, if you love them, they're gonna fucking turn it up a little bit. They want to be the heel.
Just like Whistling Diesel, big YouTuber right now. He's been big since like 2016 too. Like, he's huge, and all he does is like, he feeds off of haters. Like, every hater that he gets, he knows that that's just more money he's bringing in.
Well, and that's so smart.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love doing that. It's just like the rage bait and all that stuff. It's like, you make people mad, so they comment on it. The algorithm's not going to know the difference between a negative and a positive comment, so they just all
it's reading interactions. Positive. So it's like, and that's what I try to explain to people too, because so many people that and I held this pretty hush for a while until I was really ready. But a lot of things that I try to motivate people to do shit. If somebody's like, hey, I want to start a fucking vlog channel and just show people my day to day, it's like, just do it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want people to make fun of me. I don't want people to listen. You kind of do.
Yeah.
Because listen, if you want to be somebody that is, like the people that you watch and have a following, you can't even imagine how much hate they probably get.
I don't even look at my comments.
So it's like, well, and what I was going to say, for an early and growing channel, I'll reply to all them stupid comments. Like,
I do that on YouTube.
Because they're going to probably respond. And like I said, you're kind of feeding the algorithm there to make it to where, it's reading interactions. So, I mean, you just have to just take it all as it comes and just kind of take off the rear view mirror and just keep doing it. If you get hate, that's more interactions.
I do this thing when I'm doing gun reviews on my channel. I do this thing where, like, I've never actually said this publicly, but like I'll do this thing where in specs, like if I'm ever like analyzing the specs of a gun, I'll say like one number off, and then just say that it's true, and just like one number a tiny bit off, and then you'll see it in my comments like, oh, you said this, and this, and then
You're
I'll say
that nitpicky. Like,
mm-hmm. Oh
I'm
yeah,
surprised people even notice.
gun reviews, like it's like the older guys on gun reviews, they'll watch it and they know everything. Remember, so like they'll hear that one number off and they'll just go straight to being a keyboard warrior, and I'll come back at them and be like, no, that's 100% true, and then they'll just fire off 6 different comments in a row, and just like, yeah, you fell right into the trap. I love
somebody that's got to make 4 comments to say one thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, just keep them going.
Oh, yeah, you fell right into the trap. Like, you are exactly what I tried to do.
For real.
And then there's 6 other dudes that are doing the same thing. So, I think 6 dudes, 3 comments to say one thing. And then, look at that, you got 18 comments.
You know, and it's you know, maybe frowned upon in some situations, but it's like, if you're allowing yourself to get that upset about something so minute that someone that you don't know, have never been in the same room with, like, because I get worried sometimes too. I might fucking spout something off and be like, well, somebody might be able to put 2 and 2 together and find out, like, I'm talking about them, or maybe it was a client. But it's like, I would say the same shit to you in person too. If you were being fucking out of line, or if you were, you know, did something, even if it was something funny or crazy, it's like, I stand by what I fucking say. And
Oh,
it's like,
yeah.
if I'm fucking saying something to get a little bit of a rise out of you, and you want to fucking, you know, fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I just keep fucking flaring. Yeah, dude, fine. Like, you want to get all fucking, you know, bunched up over something stupid.
Oh, it's my favorite thing saying like that, saying things like that on purpose, and then people just like try to correct me in the comments. It's just like, thanks, you did exactly what I wanted you to do, and that's the thing is like you got to do. And I know a lot of people say like, oh yeah, that's frowned upon. It's just like, okay, then why don't you go make a channel and let's see who grows quicker with you being 100% truthful and 100% non-hater and all that.
Well, and that's, I mean, if you're an early channel, I mean, like, you know, I wouldn't say, like, I mean, once you've made it, you know, and you got to say, like, turn it off.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but, you know, like I said, I mean, at least for the time being, because you know how fucking hard it is to really grow. And if you're committed to it, I'm not saying you should be doing, you know, like, you're not making fucking clickbait, fire 'em up videos on purpose necessarily, you know, because I hate that shit. Like, because I'll be looking for some information and I'll find something, the fucking title will be like, you know, I'm like, oh shit, that's the crazy shit I'm looking for. And then the video has nothing to do with that title. I'm like, well, I just wasted 5 minutes of my fucking life looking for something. You know?
I hate when I go to look up like how to do this or how to do this, and it starts off with, "Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're doing this today." It's just like, okay, though, how the fuck do I tie a tie?
Trying to get out of the fucking house.
I don't give a shit about your day-to-day life. I don't care.
Have you tried YouTube Shorts?
I don't care about your day-to-day life. Show me how to tie a tie. I gotta go. I got a wedding to be at.
YouTube Shorts are getting longer too. They can be 3 minutes now.
Was it 3 minutes now? Oh.
It's because of fucking TikTok and, well, actually, I guess it's because of Reels. A Facebook Reel can be 3 minutes, so they had to compete with that. But TikTok's, I like the shorter format. Holy shit!
Yeah, TikTok's up to 10 minutes now, and I love it when people.
You're a TikToker.
Yeah.
Were you freaking out over the ban? Did you have any problem? I mean, like, cause, I mean, are you getting money from TikTok? Do you get paid yet from TikTok?
I've been a little bit, yeah, since like 2021, but.
I might have to, actually, let's stop there. I'm going to fucking take a leak real quick.
Okay.
I'm going to fucking, right, blow it. Yeah, especially because, like, you're really, like, these people that were at least pretending to freak out. It's like, if you literally, like, bought your house from your TikTok income and you fucking are literally living off of your income from TikTok.
Not doing it right.
I'm just saying, if you're living off of just your TikTok income and that's your only job and like you're freaking out because they're going to ban it and you're not going to be able to work, you've made it. I mean, like, if you're TikTok famous, you should be able to go to a different platform.
Yeah, that was my big thing. Is call me cocky, call me whatever you want to call me. My big thing was I made it on I made pretty good money off TikTok. I made big followers on TikTok, so like, why the fuck can't I do it on other things? It's the still same me, different platform.
Well, and I get different platforms that have different things. Like, someone was just telling me too that I could actually start putting, I don't know if I could do, probably not the whole thing, but snippets of this on Twitch. and that people have kind of opened up to doing longer format and like podcasts and stuff like that on Twitch, and that their parameters for monetization are much more relaxed than YouTube. That they only require you to have like 2 or 3 consistent viewers a month, just returning. And then there's, I don't know what the whole deal is.
So Twitch is actually a pretty scary place when it comes to monetization and things like that. Simply because, like, say you have 50 viewers a month, like 50 consistent viewers a month, you are in the top 10% of Twitch. If you have, these big streamers, a lot of these like bigger streamers that you hear is like, if you have 50 or 60 like consistent views per month,
returning viewers.
Yeah, returning viewers per month. Yeah, I'm not big into Twitch. I just know like certain things about it. You are in the top 10%, top 10, 15% of Twitch because there are so many people that are doing it for 0 views. There's millions of people doing it for 0. They're just doing it for the love of the game, like just trying to build up. And they're never going to get found because you got to scroll the whole way down to the bottom.
In the pool, man.
Lost it's in like, the abyss.
You feel the same way with YouTube, but I feel like YouTube's got a better understanding of keeping a balance. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, I guess I do know. I can look at like the analytics and stuff, and I mean, I'll post very, very rarely about anything on Facebook. Like, I try to just like let it do its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Try to put it on YouTube, and like I do some research on the hashtags and try to put relevant tags and stuff like that, good titles and descriptions. That's about all I know about just sending it out. I've learned though that probably the most crucial thing is what time of day you fucking post it.
Absolutely.
Because like I've posted something and it fucking does, absolutely terrible. 2, 3 views. I delete it. I can post the exact same fucking thing at a different time of day or a different day, and it just takes off.
My viewers are mainly active, which you guys need to go to fucking sleep by this point. Is like,
but is it in America or different countries?
America.
Okay.
It's like I think I have like 60% America, which is an insane ratio. But you got to remember, mine's basically based around guns, so like a lot of Americans are gonna love that.
Absolutely right. I forgot what your content is. That's absolutely right.
Like you could tell when people get off work is like 4 o'clock is when it really starts. You can see like the little uprising, and then like 6 to 1, 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. It's like 90% of my viewers are on.
Oh,
so like I've learned that you want to post at like 3:30, 3:45. So it's up in the algorithm on their suggested when they get home from work. And then they can say either like, oh, I'll watch this right now. Or I'll watch this when I'm going to rest at 6 o'clock. And you got to post it like 10, 15 minutes before your spike. It's like that's one thing I've always learned. Before you're expecting
somebody to watch it, right? Because it's nowhere for a little bit of time when it's processing, especially like I'm so anal about it. Like, I know that like at first your only available version is like the standard definition, and then afterwards it processes the high definition, and I try so fucking hard to remind people to like, please take the time to watch this in 1080 fucking p because it's atrocious to try to watch it. At least again, I'm a quality whore, so it's like if I'm watching something that's fucking grainy, I can't watch it.
Do it. No,
so and that's probably just because we've lived through the lens for so long. You know what I mean? So like I'm looking at fucking pixels. Like if I see grain, I'm like ah.
When I'm recording in 4K, it is absolutely just fucking crisp on my
camera.
I
bet it's so beautiful.
Oh yeah,
I would love to get this to the point, which I think I could do it, but better cameras is what it comes down to. I think I have the bandwidth now in the processing.
With rendering and all that too, is 4K takes so fucking long to render compared to 1080p. It's like the jump from 1080p. It's like
twice as much fucking storage to hold it too. And like what I've learned with this is that because it's writing as we go, much like if you were recording a video, I would imagine.
Yep.
Your SSID storage space is what really matters because that is determining how fast essentially your device can process and then write down what's happening. So like this guy explained it to me really well. It's like, okay, so like that SSID, imagine if you're trying to do a tattoo and all you have is a little table and you got to stack things up, you got to pile things up. Sometimes you got to move this to use this.
Yeah.
When you've got that much storage space on your SSID, it's like you've got a whole bar, okay? You can have the exact same amount of tasks open all at the same time,
Yep.
but you're able to access them without having to juggle and process things. It's like, so understanding kind of how that works definitely helps, because like I said, like I know now with that, like actually I have 3 cameras on, because that's just like a B-roll on the iPhone.
Yeah.
So 3 cameras, 2 mics, and actually 4 running into that was muted. But like, so, and then I can still wirelessly connect to the display. I'll get a little bit of latency and lag and like poor resolution on that side. But I mean, I'm pretty damn close. I keep saying, like, I'm afraid to say like that I've got it there, because there's always upgrading.
Yeah,
like
there's always
I want to
a
get a
jump.
fucking real soundboard, because I want to start doing live shows and live music, and maybe even like, because that place down there, dude, you could rent it to do anything.
Oh,
I
yeah.
could rent that fucking place and do tattoos in it if I wanted to just do a big hurrah with some red carpets and shit.
Yeah.
But like, I could also rent that. Say I wanted to just say like, 1 year anniversary of the podcast. I'm gonna have 4 of our favorite guests, or whatever, the most requested guests of the podcast for the year, and we're all going to sit on a panel and do it down at the fucking warehouse.
Dude, I wanted to be on a panel so
That'd be
bad.
so
That's
cool.
And I love the panels on, like, if you see it, Halloween, where like this dude's dressed up as this guy, this dude's dressed up as this guy, and none of them go together because they didn't correlate anything. It's like, oh yeah, this dude's dressed up as Donald Trump, and this motherfucker is dressed up from a TV show. Like it's so funny.
Yeah, like, I mean, because like you said, you don't watch a whole lot of Rogan, but like Duncan Trussell is probably one of my favorite people to listen to him talk to, because they're such good friends and they just have such good conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a special one that they only do it every so often, like maybe once a year or every 6 months or so, that they sit down and record one.
Mm-hmm.
So every time they do it, they wear some crazy fucking costume. Last time they had full body suits, like Tesla robot suits, to make them look like full Tesla robots.
That's cool as hell.
And then they have sunglasses on, and like they're like 10 minutes into, they're like, can't fucking breathe in this fucking thing. I think this is the longest we've ever lasted. And then like the one time they had bought, like, and these costumes are not cheap. I looked it up. The costumes for like furry conventions. They had like full like mascot garb on, dude. Yeah. They're like trying to do the podcast in this garb, and like 5 seconds in, they're like, fuck.
Dude, my favorite is when Shane Gillis dressed up as Trump.
He's the best Trump. He's a better Trump than Trump.
He is. He does a better. I've said that for so long. He does a better Trump impression than Donald J. Trump himself, because he's got it down pat. Did you ever see the one stand up of him where he's like, "Yeah, Donald Trump just got kicked out of the fucking office," which I'm pissed about. I just got good at his impression, and it took him 4 years to get good at it, and by now he's mastered it. And
it was kind of good that Trump had a break in between his 2 terms, because it gave Gillis all this time to play around with the idea. Because, like, have you seen the Trump speed dating?
No, I haven't.
Holy fuck, dude. This is the funniest thing I've ever... I mean, I hate to talk stuff up sometimes, because I'm like, I make it sound more fucking funny than it is.
I do the same thing.
But his Trump, dude, like, so, again, you said you didn't watch a whole lot of Kill Tony before? Mm-hmm. So he did Trump on Kill Tony. Okay, so Kill Tony, if you don't know the format...
I know the... like the basic format of it. I've seen a couple of them, and they're really
picture
funny.
Open mic, stand-up comedy. Each person only gets 60 seconds. So you only got to come up with a 60-second fucking bit.
Yeah.
So every person that's on there, other than their guests that they pepper in, are just a bucket pool. They pull them out of the bucket at random. And then they have, obviously, seasoned comedians or whoever on the panel, and then they gave them feedback and interview them and shit, right? So, like, they've sold out now Madison Square Garden doing this. They do the fucking Kill Tony podcast in Madison Square Garden, dude. They did HEB Arena twice now for the New Year's thing. It's now an annual thing. 5,000 people watching them do open mic stand-up. These motherfuckers, some of these have never done stand-up ever. First time ever in front of 30,000 people, could you imagine? And then getting fucking roasted afterwards by all your favorite comedians.
My favorite is I don't really know what to say, but I'm not, like, retarded or anything, but I like rocks. And he pulls out rocks out of his phone. Dude, that was my favorite. And think about it, in 60 seconds, you make that big of a difference to now you're on the panel. Right. It's like, that's insane to me.
And that's what's so awesome is, like, everybody was like, 60 seconds isn't enough. And, like, Tony Hinchcliffe is the creator of this show.
Yeah.
And he said, listen, that's enough time. It doesn't allow you to dick around and fuck around. And you get up there, 60 seconds is a long time when you're standing in front of a bunch of people listening to you talk. So it's like it cuts out all the bullshit, it keeps it direct, and then they interview them sometimes for 20 minutes afterwards.
That one girl in the wheelchair, I saw this on TikTok and it made me laugh.
Fiona Cawley. Yeah, she's good, man.
I always heard girls or guys brag about how they can fuck a girl so good they can't walk the next morning. I want a guy to fuck me so good I can. Right. Like that dude, that is the funniest shit. That had me howling.
And that's another thing is, like, you'll hear some of the most offensive things on that show, but if you really read between the lines, you can see that show has become a platform for people. A lot of those people that are on that show and do really, really well are mentally handicapped or disabled in some way. And it's like no other place would have given these people the time of fucking day.
That's awesome.
So they had Shane Gillis do Trump, Adam Ray did Biden. And that fucking, I mean, like, it's like the show that you got to show somebody when you want to show them what Kill Tony is. But, like, it's the best one. So we'll do this speed dating thing real quick. This is fucking... Put it back up. Put it back up. Viewing children.
When you walked in, I could practically see. I don't even need
I keep forgetting that it's not Trump.
Let me stop you there, man. You're gay. I suck.
Dude, that's fun. I kept forgetting it wasn't Donald Trump. Like partway through.
It's so good, dude.
It is. It's genuine. It's the best Trump impression.
And the thing is too is like he absolutely can nail the voice, but he also looks enough like Trump.
Yeah.
That he gets away with it. He's a little fatter. He's a little. I mean, so like, because a lot of people I've heard like do Trump impressions, but I've heard black guys do it. It's like, but you don't have the Trump. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
He's got the wig on, dude, and he's got the fucking face. The whole thing together, it's just unstoppable.
Dude,
it's so nuts.
That's funny as hell. I've never seen that before, but
yeah, it's crazy. And that's like, I don't know if you've ever seen any of his other skits, but like even that kind of stuff, dude, I'd have a blast just making that kind of shit all the time, dude. Like just ridiculous skits. But he's gonna turn that into his own series. Yeah, he's gonna take it off of YouTube and he's gonna do his own things. Like he did this other one, it was OnlyFans Dad, which is really, really good. Like they walk in on him, and he's on OnlyFans, and he's fucking like, he's like, you don't like to see how you make the sausage? You like that fucking new car you bought? How do you think I fucking paid for it? And he's like coming while he's like, oh.
That was one. I was listening to this one the C-Boys have a podcast too, and that was one big question they had. It was like a 30-minute long talk out of an hour-long podcast. It was like, if your girl did OnlyFans, would you care? And then everyone else was like, I don't know, like maybe, like if you're making money off of it, yeah, I'd agree. If you're not making money, you're kind of just putting your puss out there,
right? If it's not income.
But no. And then there was this one dude. He goes, am I still a YouTuber in this fake world that she's an OnlyFans? And they were like, yeah, you're still your same person. And he goes, can I promote it? And everyone's like, yeah, I guess. And he goes, so I can make bank while she's making bank. And everyone's like, yeah. And he goes, I'm so fucking down for this. Like he was so open to it. I was like, it's funny because they got 4 million subscribers, and he's just like, can I promote it?
So that conversation has come up before, not on the podcast, but like it's like one of those things. If you treat it like a business and it's not like, I mean, I'm sure, a small part of you has to enjoy just being looked at, I guess.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like if you're just like saying, hey, listen, like I could fucking sell my fucking socks to this fucking creep, or you know what I mean? Like I've literally
give me $1,000.
Literally heard. I mean, which I've heard. I don't know. I've never known any girl that's selling her fucking dirty laundry, but from what I hear, it's a thing. I mean, to where like literally, like listen, if you could sell your fucking laundry that you wore yesterday for any amount of money to some creep, do it.
There was one girl.
I would.
I don't remember what her name was. She sold her bath water for like hundreds of dollars, and then a bunch of people were getting herpes because they were fucking drinking it. Like they would order it hundreds of dollars. God. They would drink it, and then they were getting herpes from it. Like that is so fucked up.
Surely she knew she had the fucking herp.
Yeah, she had to have known.
That's fucked.
And then that is.
Man, it took a turn. I was going to say, I've heard of something way worse, but that tops what I was going to say, because I heard of a girl that was selling her fucking farts in a jar.
I've heard of that, yeah.
And it's like, Where's the? I mean, what do you package that? How do you like?
I heard this one where it was,
doesn't make any sense. That is foul. Stop that.
Fucking freaks.
Jesus.
I saw this one. This girl gets millions of views, millions upon millions of views, because she sits on cakes. Like a fucking cake you would buy from a store.
Yeah, just smushing it.
Yeah, just sits on it. And like, I don't know. I've seen it on TikTok before, and I'm like, wow, that's fucked up. And I just keep scrolling. But apparently, there's people getting caught in the archives of her just sitting on cakes. And like, there's like, the cake lore goes so far back too, because it's like, wow, here's her 100K cake that she sat on. Here's her 1 year TikTok anniversary cake.
And then there's probably all kinds of cake companies like, that would make our cake look really good.
Yeah.
That girl can sell some cakes.
But no, I think it's so funny.
You got some cake on your lips there. You got some cake on your cheek. I haven't seen that one, dude. That's impressive. But again, I mean, like, hey, I mean, like, if you can fucking make it income and there's some idiot, you know, dumb enough to pay for it, it's just like that girl that went viral and started a fucking fake Bitcoin. It's like, you know, I mean,
Haktua.
Everyone wants to, you know, flip out, but I mean, you were dumb enough to give her your money, you know, so.
So, Hawkcoin, all it was is a pump and dump. It's like.
But what the fuck does that mean? I create something that's not real and then just, but how does that make money?
Basically, it was all it was is a pump and dump. That's the definition of what they did. So, everyone pumps a shit ton of money into this. It's Bitcoin, basically.
Other people.
Yeah.
She creates
investors.
It, and other people put money into it.
So, like, say there's these 10 people, including her, on this platform that they know what's going on. You don't know what's going on, right? So, say if it's a more reputable company like Bitcoin or something like that, not company, but crypto.
Right.
And then you put 100K into it, bought one Bitcoin, and then it shut down the next day. You have a Bitcoin, but it's not worth shit. It's worth a couple cents. But you put 100K into it. So basically, as these 10 people watch it just climb, they drop it, and then they'll watch people dump their entire life savings into it. They'll watch people, and then guess what? They're going to pull the rug. At some point, they're going to hit so much fucking money, and they're going to pull the rug, split that money among all of them, and say it was an accident that they couldn't change it. And everyone's going to go around believing that.
Isn't it weird that there's not some kind of fucking safeguard or something like that? Like, if I created a fucking currency...
There is safeguards around it, but there is really easy ways around them. It's
obviously.
So basically, what they did is like, oh, we made this crypto, too many people are investing into it, and then all of a sudden, either it went bankrupt or like something
They just
happened.
played dumb, essentially.
Yeah. And basically, they'll say like, oh, I didn't know that this was going to happen when it was a rug pull. It was supposed to happen. And there was this one dude,
they're obviously, you know, banking on her fame and her being viral. So it's like as soon as somebody sees her name attached to it, it's just
you're
like
a trustworthy person.
They were talking about the other day on his podcast. Like if they created tomorrow a Rogan coin, every fucking 200 million of his fucking people would probably invest money into it. And then like what you're saying, so you can close that at any time.
You can pull that rug.
That's so fucking. That's like, why is there something preventing you from having the power to?
There is. It's just there's a bunch of different things that the actual crypto like creators can say. Is like, oh, this happened and it didn't work, or like this happened and all the money was gone.
And also too, I forget, this is a completely new landscape.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody really has any idea. You know, like I don't even know if I still believe that it's a real currency. I mean, like it's. So my buddy had all this fucking Bitcoin and all this stuff. I'm like, dude, like you're dumping all this money into it, dude. I don't even know what the fuck it is. Do you know what it is? And
so like, crypto is making a face in all the markets now. It's like there's Bitcoin ATMs. There's Bitcoin like you can purchase
I've seen
things.
that I can buy stuff online now with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You know.
So the only two that I've seen that are actually like somewhat tangible in locations is Ethereum and Bitcoin. That's the only ones. It's like, the NFTs, the non-fungible tokens?
Yeah.
It's like, those are huge, and if you bought a fucking NFT, you're going down. But, like, those were purchased with Ethereum. Ethereum was the only thing that could have purchased them. I did a lot of research into this because I was going to be one of those idiots that bought an NFT. But
if you think that this is the future of the market, it's like, we have the idea of like, getting in on the ground floor essentially of like what might be the future of currencies. So, I mean, if you can invest money that's currently, because that's how they push it is like, well, gold and the dollar and everything is being devalued. Inflation's out of fucking control, so they're trying to drive everybody to a digital currency.
Yeah. It's basically the same thing that airports do. Have you ever heard of a security blanket?
I mean, I've heard of it, but I don't know if I know what it is.
So basically, airports. You think that airports are the safest place on planet Earth? Like
you
nothing gets past it. So in all reality, only about 70% of items going through TSA that shouldn't be going get caught. That's not a very large number. That's a very, very large
well, it's a big gray area for sure, so not knowing.
They send people through that are supposed to have illegal items in their suitcase. It's like the owner of the actual airport will. And then 70% of them get caught. But there's 30% of people that can get onto airplanes, but they'll still tell you that 100% of things get caught.
So wait a minute. So the airport itself has people that are running illegal items through there just as a safeguard to see how many people are That's kind of a fucking, like for them to like be able to try to keep themselves in check. But I guess they would need that data somehow because you couldn't tell if you weren't catching any of this.
But if you get online, go on to United Airlines, any of the other big ones, Delta, all of them, they will always all tell you it is 100%. They will not get caught. They're like certain things. It's called
That's foolish anyway. They're stupid.
It's called a security blanket because you feel safe under it, but you're not actually as safe as you are.
Right. False fucking security.
So with crypto, it's basically the same thing. It's like Ethereum is, you can purchase NFTs with it, but someday we'll be able to buy something else with it. Ethereum's never going to be able to be purchased or never going to be able to buy fungible items or tangible items in any way. And I see crypto as Bitcoin is the only one that's ever going to be able to buy something that's actually tangible. It's like, that's my outlook on it, is I think it's just a big security blanket.
Just wonder what their idea is. I mean, because I would imagine I devil into the fucking simulation theory pretty much 7 days a week. And actually, I was just watching this thing. I don't know if you know who Randall Carlson is, but he's a geologist. He's a fucking genius. But he's actually leading like the forefront of like people being aware that like our planet has gone through millions and millions of climate changes and cataclysms and all this stuff, and just formations of planets and extinction of human civilization and all this stuff. And like they're very big. Him and Graham Hancock, both are like have been called kooks for fucking decades for saying that the Egyptians didn't build the pyramids, all of this shit. I fucking stumbled onto this thing and they were talking about the moon, and it's like, fuck. Oh, here we go. So a long time ago, I mean, this has been, probably 10, 20 years ago, whenever the space race and all of this stuff was happening, the plan was to put some form of base on the moon, I mean, for us to be able to transport to and from and all of this stuff. And then leading up to that, the idea was that they were taking components and things that make up life, from Earth and essentially creating like a biological, time capsule. On the moon, just in case something would happen to the Earth, and you'd want the species to be able to live on somehow, some way, with some instruction that this contains the ingredients for life. That was the whole idea. I mean, fucking fantastic idea. It got stonewalled by politics, and it didn't happen. We ended up, I think it was getting into one of those wars, probably World War II or something. But all of the money went to funding the fucking war, so it never happened. But there's still an agency committed to doing this and putting a base on the moon, and then essentially fulfilling that idea is to take ingredients for life that we know of and putting them on the moon and on Mars, and just as a safety net, just in case something would happen. Also, too, I mean, it's good to have something in place, because if you were able to sustain even a small percentage of the population on the moon, if you had a little bit of notice an asteroid was coming, you could probably get the smartest and most intelligent people off the planet, get them to the moon. And then if you have the building blocks for life there, then it just comes down to time. But what's interesting is, as I'm watching this, I'm like, right there's how we got here. Right fucking there. Some fucking advanced civilization had a little fucking bottle of human jizz or spit or fucking whatever, hydrogen and molecules and water and whatever, and went on a fucking rock and just fucking left. Four fucking 0.6 billion years later, here we are fucking talking into microphones and shit. It's like,
I saw this one theory.
It makes too much sense. It's like,
I saw this one theory when I was like 12, and I believed it ever since. It's like, it's so stupid. But like, Mars was the original like human race, and like that's where everyone was. That's why they're discovering life on Mars. That's why we're doing all this. But they fucked up. Is like something fucked up. Something made that planet unwithstandable. Like couldn't hold human life. And then they sent 2 people in a ship just coming down to Earth. They saw Earth and they were like, "Fuck it, go there."
Right.
And they sent 2 people, and then that was Adam and Eve, and that was the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs. I've heard that, and I was like, "No, that's true."
Dude. See, and I like that. Like because. A lot of people say, well, you either believe in the science and evolution or you believe in God put us all here. It's like, do you realize that, like, between mythology and science, which would be what we consider to be fact, if you're reading both of these things, the most common fucking realization would be that it's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I've always thought that.
To where, like, I'm sure that a lot of this fucking science is very, very accurate, and I'm sure that a lot of these biblical writings and experiences were accurate to an extent to where the language is different than it is now, and their explanations for things were a little bit more far fetched just because, again, of the knowledge. But I mean, like, it's like I think about that all the time. Noah's Ark, all that shit, like. Guarantee that shit happened, and they're finding more and more evidence, like I said, of like great floods, and of multiple civilizations that had no fucking known way to communicate or talk to each other or even know each other existed. All speaking of a great flood and a great cataclysm, and it's like
there's so many different things that align with each other.
A lot of coincidences.
My big thing from like day one is yes, science helped with all of this, but we had to get here fucking somehow. And the sun isn't just going to magically appear. The earth isn't just going to magically be a perfect distance away. And I've always thought it's a mixture of both. Is like, yeah, science made this world what it is today, but I'm not a huge religious person, but God is what put all of this in line here and just let it happen.
That's where I'm like, see, the simulation, because there is a one known holy creator of it all, someone that put everything into motion, whether he's in direct control of what's happening day to day. I believe that we're at our own free will to make our own choices. I don't think this is all predetermined, but based on everything that I know about the rate of advancement of technology and what we've been able to see happen in just the short time that humans have been around. Because if you look at the entire cosmic timeline, and I mean, they're even thinking that now the universe might be more than 14.6 billion years. They're thinking it might be closer to 19 or 20 because there's galaxies that are far too fucking complex to have been that early in their stage of life if they have been produced by the Big Bang and that was the start. So it's like, but like I truly believe that like that's probably where we get this idea of one known creator. It's just been ingrained in us. It's in our fucking hard drive that there's been one creator and that, maybe there's somewhere like I always said like, yeah, whenever we fucking die, it's probably like they unplug us and they're like, what'd you think?
Your trip?
What was that? You were down for 5 minutes? That was what we call Earth. What do you think? I'm like, well, that was fucking sweet. Send me back.
I always had this dream that like when you die, it's one thing. It's a collage, like a video compilation of like these are you and your buddy's funniest moments. These are your best moments. Like here's where your dopamine spiked the most. It's just like hours of footage.
Like your highlight reel.
Yeah, and then you just like a hospital. Like you watch all this in a hospital basically, or like a just a dark room kind of thing. And then you walk down a hall and there's someone to greet you and they say right or left. And then you choose. And like, this is, I don't want to say heaven or hell because I don't truly believe in any of those, but like, this is the way to where you want to be. And this is the way to where you don't want to be. And you get to choose which way you want to go. You know what I mean?
It's like, I kind of like that.
Because heaven,
visual.
Because think about it, is like your heaven is going to be way fucking different than what my heaven is.
And everybody's totally different.
Like, I don't know. I've always hoped that it's one of those things where like, you ever seen the video or the movie All Dogs Go to Heaven?
Yeah.
I think that every human should go to heaven. I don't care if you are, and this is going to be misconstrued in so many different ways, but I don't care. It's my belief. Is like, I believe that even if you were Hitler or if you were just some a stillborn child that was like the genuine basics of innocence,
right? Pure.
You deserve to go to heaven simply because you lived your life. It's like you did. How can I say this? It's like you did what you thought was right in your life, and you get to go to what you believe is heaven with your family members, with your loved ones, with everything. You can visit everybody. They have their own version of heaven, almost like a big-ass hotel. So I think about it that way.
What about this? What about for the Hitlers and the people that, may have, at least by public opinion, maybe lived the wrong way, or maybe in the eyes of the creator, because for some reason we have been given these set of rules, which I always believe too, that like any society is going to write in some little shit, you can't do this, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, that's all human fucking influence and control, But if we're talking about just maybe pure versus evil, I like your visualization of the two paths. But maybe you don't have a choice. Maybe if you were a Hitler in this life, you got to go back. You know what I mean? Like, maybe there's more to fucking learn for you.
Almost
Maybe
like,
there's more to experience. Maybe you got to go through a little bit of a rougher road to maybe why now you're the fucking minority and someone's trying to commit genocide on you. Whatever it may be. But your own personal version of redemption, hell, and then you get through that and you come out on the other side, then you go to absolution.
That's what Buddhism is, basically. Have you ever heard of Buddhism? Like, the basics of it?
The surface level shit.
You gotta live everyone's lifespan and all that before you can reach, like, whatever they call heaven.
Right, like an absolution, purity or whatever, utopia.
It's crazy when you actually dive into the archives of, like, you can have your own fucking belief. You don't have to go by Christianity, Buddhism, or anything like that. You can have a mixture of all of them. Like,
you could make up a fucking Scientology. L. Ron Hubbard, too, which is funny about him, the creator of Scientology, has produced more bullshit in writing than any other person on this planet. And that's not even an exaggeration. That's a fucking fact. So, I mean, him writing up a fucking Bible, I'd have been like... But at the same time, that's what's beautiful about being a fucking human and not being, indoctrinated, at least by your government or whatever. It's like, if you tomorrow decided, you know what, I like this about this religion and that about that religion, some things I don't agree with, but I'm going to put what I like together and I'm going to make my own religion. There's not a single person that would stop you. You could fucking start a religion tomorrow, you could open up a church, and you would have every bit of right, and you'd probably have a lot of people that would follow you because, again, many people don't fit in to the little niches of the religions that are available.
See, I love...
Just don't become a cult.
Yeah. I love the way that I grew up, like, just in the middle of everything, because, like, if you look back on my past, I was Christian for a little bit, and then I, not, like, satanic rituals, but I dabbled in Satanism, which is a religion, and then Buddhism, and then a little bit of, Judaism, things like that.
Oh, you've been all around, and see, that's good.
I love having all kinds... I just like knowing things. I like knowing all types of shit. And that's why...
that's how you make the best decisions. How can you know, like, people that just dive in with both feet without getting any information, that's a little culty.
Yeah.
Believe what you're told and don't ask any questions, sit down and
this is what I was told, I'm going to do that.
So, I mean, like, and it's the same thing if, like, somebody's like, oh, my God, Satanism, oh, my God. Now, listen, do you even know what it is? Do you know anything about it? We're not sacrificing fucking animals over here, but, like... It's same thing with the atheists. People will denounce an atheist.
I was down that road.
Listen, there's people that might not believe what you believe, but maybe they just don't know what to believe. So it's like there's a fucking huge gray area, and someone telling me that I should live my life a certain way based on something that none of us have ever seen, met, heard of. It's like
that was
tough.
Always my big thing. Like when I was down, like. Because Satanism and atheism, for me, was, like, right next to each other. And I still believe in everything from all of those religions just because I like knowing all of them. And that was my big thing with the Bible. It was like, why should I believe in everything that this book says that was written in a language that doesn't even exist anymore, that was brought down through so many years of new translations and new this and new this. And you ever put... like, hello, my name is Hunter, into Google Translate, put it into a different language, and then put it back into English. Dude, it's not the fucking same.
It can change the context so much by just a brief translation, and that's if you understand the language well. That AI understands your language and that language well, and you can see how broken the English becomes.
Yeah.
So it's like to think that this has been passed down for fucking centuries. I mean millennia. It's like... You're going to say that I don't have a right, or at least, should maybe think about it a little bit, question a little bit? Because like I said, I mean, like in most things, you want to read between the lines because you have to understand the environment, the time that this was written, and the stuff that they were understanding and processing. Like, it's like if I read a fucking book from back then and I believe that everything revolves around the earth and I'm walking around all day believing it. It's like, well, there's been new information that's come out since then. Like, maybe they didn't have such an understanding back then when they wrote it.
Yeah.
And there's, and that's not even getting into the ulterior motive of like why anybody would use religion to, control people or to get people to do or act a certain way. It's like there's so many things, so many variables that when I read something, boy, I really got to take a step back and understand it.
Put it into this perspective. You're a business too. I'm a business. If someone handed you a contract, are you going to just skim through it and sign it and without reading every single word on that? Or are you going to sit down, read every word, the fine print, the headers, the footers, everything?
I was just talking about this the other day. I used to hide crazy shit in my release forms.
I do too.
Like insane shit. Like you got to pay me like $5 a month every month. You have this tattoo for the rest of your life. Because I knew people weren't reading them.
Yeah.
And you should read them. I don't give a fuck what it is. I could be signing over your fucking house to me. You're not reading the form. You're signing your name on it. You have no idea what it is. And like a document, depending on how willingly, the person that's making you sign it is willing to pursue it. But like when you're in a contract with somebody, it'll hold up in court. And that's essentially where it matters.
It doesn't even need to be fully notarized. One thing I learned, it can just be a piece of paper that you typed off at work, printed off on the work printer, and brought it home. So, like, when I started my YouTube channel with my buddy, I had the YouTube channel, I had the following, and he wanted to join in. So I was like, fuck it, you're going to sign a contract. Because, like, that's my shit. And I hid...
It's like a little prenup, just to make sure he's not going to come in and, think he has rights to something that maybe he didn't help build.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not going to say his name because we're not on good terms anymore, but... It's like, I hid some crazy shit in that contract, and I sat down with him, and I said, like, yo, you can't say this. If we're talking about videos, like, you can't go out and tell somebody about the videos we're talking about until they're public. Like, you gotta... And then I heard through the grapevine, somebody said, Hometown High Life. And I looked at him and was like, how the fuck do you know about Hometown High Life? And, this person told me. And I was like, I can sue him for that. So I actually ended up finding him just at a public facility. And I was like, hey, who'd you tell? Hometown High Life was going to be a clothing brand. Like, I was making I had to come up with a different name and everything after that. But I had money into Hometown High Life.
Well, and that's where people who are not doing the work and not building the brand don't understand the value in just a fucking name. That's what I said. I mean, like me saying that Partners in Line thing, dude, you don't even realize how long, as stupid and silly as that is. I'm like, I ain't saying it to nobody.
Yeah.
If I see that on a fucking shirt a decade from now, I'm going to fucking blow up.
No,
so it's like, that's your creative and your ideas.
We were just drinking around a fire the one night, and somebody brought up Hometown High Life. And because the whole basics behind that is, we are still in our hometown, but we're living the high life, like rolling high, like all that. And it took me a month to come up with that. I had money into it. I had designs drawn up, like I had everything. And then somebody just drinking around a fire that happened to know that kid, he brought it up, and I was like, how the fuck do you know about that? And he told me. I ended up seeing that kid in a public facility, and I walked up to him. I was like, hey, I could sue the fuck out of you, right? I could take you to a legal court and sue you because I still have the contract. It doesn't matter if you ripped it up. I still have the contract. Like, just because you ripped a contract doesn't mean you're not still binded to it.
Yeah, it doesn't do shit. And
I told him, I was like, I'm not going to do anything about it because if I had more than the $100 into it that I had into it, I'm going to do something. But I only have $100 into it, so I don't really give a shit. But, like, I got to come up with a new name now, which I have a new name, but I'm not going to say it.
Well, the problem is, too, is, like, when you get that one, because, like, I mean, if you're not someone, like, I mean, like, I sit around and, like, I lose sleep thinking about that could be a brand.
Yeah.
That could be a company.
I do that all the time.
I could do this. Okay, like, I mean, like, you're fucking building a fucking enterprise.
Entrepreneurial
and it's all you. It's like you're branding yourself. So it's like when someone... it's like a fucking leak. It's like, if you're fucking waiting for a fucking big product drop and like your whole marketing team has been working for this release in June and some dickhead spills the beans at a party 2 weeks beforehand, you just blew the whole fucking deal it's like, so you got to respect people's brand and their business because it's a livelihood. It's like you're building, your image.
My fiance, the person that I am sharing my life with, that I am going to be in it, like, saying our dues at a wedding in July of next year, she doesn't know all of my ideas. Like I have this notebook that she doesn't even know about. I sit down and I write in this notebook for hours, and I guarantee you, if you acted on everything in that notebook, you'd be a fucking millionaire. But I don't know how to start on a lot of them, so I just let them just marinate
right, just
in there.
projects, right?
Yeah.
Just things like I said, because some things like you got to shuffle them around in the back burner. Because like sometimes it's like, man, I could make that happen, but like I'm missing a few pieces, or I got to meet the right person, or I got to find the right thing, you know. And like you said, you kind of just let it marinate and resonate in there a little bit because you
Think of
know
better ideas
you're not
with
gonna
it.
you're not gonna lose it, you know. And it's like, man, it's just like becomes like a fucking like a web, you know. And it's just like that's what I love about any of this stuff that we do. It's like, man, literally like you can have one single idea and within an hour it's got 16 legs, man. And like I can fucking go this way, I can go this way. Like I mean, there's so many things, you know.
That's one thing I always thought
Like I
about.
said, man, start that nonprofit, dude. You
Yeah.
know, like you know.
Oh, that would be a big stream too. Like a big, probably not a stream because people say some fucked up shit, but like that would be a big YouTube video. I would have filmers. I would like hire out filmers to.
And now I know how to do that. I
Yeah.
know how to broadcast live with multiple wireless cameras and shit. Like I don't know what cameras you have, but I've learned that most of these DSLRs and stuff like that can be fucking linked up with IP now.
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, that's how you shoot everything wireless and can broadcast live seamlessly, dude. So like that's what I'm saying. Like in just this, like you look around, dude. Like I mean, I've got enough fucking mics and enough equipment to run a full recording fucking studio. We can record like I just had this guy up here, like I said, he's trying to get into like voice acting and stuff. I'm like, dude, well, I'll be your first paid gig. I have about 3 or 4 promos that I want to cut that are just for the shop, for her stuff, and then for my buddy Chicken Hawk. I sit here all day, and like it's hard for me to not act like me, and I don't want it to sound or be me.
Yeah.
So it's like for him to come up here and Chicken Hawk design, you know, and then I could say, well, you know what, we're making a little bit of money. I can hire a photographer to come in and shoot product photos and stuff like that. Shoot some B-roll, throw it on a fucking short. You know, it's like. So even just with what we're doing already, like we have enough of a team that like we've got a promotion company, you know.
That's the funny thing is like I don't know, photography is needed in anything. YouTube or not, maybe not YouTube, but like photography and videography, cinematography, they're all needed in everything. Look at Nike, someone you would never think they need photography. How the fuck did they start selling? They took pictures of their shirts.
Yep. Everybody needs a photographer, man. And
that's I love photography because it's used in so many different ways that.
And what I've seen now too is because I get that still media doesn't have the flash that videos do, and like every photographer knows, especially like I'm in like the action sports world where it's like skateboarding and BMX. It's like when you land something, everybody wants to go and watch the clip. You know, nobody gives a fuck about the still photo. They'll look at that later. They'll see it in a magazine. They'll see it on a post or something. But like everybody wants the footage. But like what is coming back is that the era of print pretty much died, dude. Whenever the internet and everything came to be, like nobody's making magazines anymore. I've got a perfect plan together, dude. We're gonna put together like a lifestyle magazine that's gonna showcase local shit. You know, so I'm gonna need a photographer, dude, to be able to go out and shoot. You know, maybe like a little bit of fashion stuff, a little bit of street and urban stuff. I want to promote, you know, any kind of events and stuff like that that's happening, man. Like, so it's like having that's putting it on your resume. Same thing with like I told him, I said, dude, you can put Black City Tattoo on your resume and say, dude, I did fucking voice and commercial work for him, dude, and I would speak very highly of you. It's like, you know, building a small team, you know, and that way, like, because now with media, dude, no matter what, if you decided to fucking move to California tomorrow, dude, we could still run media because,
absolutely.
You know, Google Drive and everything like that, dude. It's like, man, we all have the talent to do it, you know, and we could share enough of the workload and the time, you know, that it would take to do it. But it's absolutely worth doing. This is, like I said, the age of independent media, dude. Print's coming back. What I was getting at is that people are now releasing all these archives of still photos that were shot on all these trips and all this stuff, and they're making like coffee table books of just black and white raw fucking photos, dude. Just like an anthology. Like, dude, this is 2024.
Yep.
Boom. You know what I mean? There's all my fucking photos right there, just like in a coffee table book. You can sell for $60 a fucking pop. You know, and just
that's awesome.
You know, it's to where like you know, and again, you could fucking bring 2 or 3 of them over to the fucking shop and sit them on the counter, and I'll fucking sell them and promote them all day. I'll have one on the table here and encourage everybody that walks in here to look at it and buy one. So it's like artists helping artists, and you know, everybody doing kind of you know, a little bit to help everybody grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to have a team.
My big thing is if I was ever like big enough on social media to the point where I can make an impact, is I don't give a fuck about money. I got enough of that. Like I don't care about any of that shit. What I want to do is I want to help starving artists. Like I want to help the like okay, you're a SoundCloud rapper and your raps are actually fire as fuck. I'll put them in my videos and tell people like in the description to go check you out.
Well,
And that helps a lot of people out with big YouTubers.
Especially when people are lacking the support, you know, because like I was just talking to him, he's like, man, I'm sitting in my closet with my mic and I'm trying to do my voiceovers. I'm like, hey man, you got my fucking support 100%. Come over here, dude. You can fucking set up in here and we can record shit on this mic. I said, so it's like anybody that's trying to do anything fucking cool, anything I have access to and abilities to, which is a lot, especially if we're talking about media and production and just social media managing and marketing. It's like, man, we're fucking gurus of this shit, you know, and like I would do the same for somebody else's channel on day one that I do on mine 10 years in. So
100%.
it's like, it's all about quality and like being able to, you know, if somebody didn't have the equipment, that's why like I didn't even show you, I'll show you on the way out. But my whole basement, I've got it fully set up. I can't play a single musical instrument myself.
Yeah.
I've dabbled in playing the guitar a little bit, but never had enough time for it. But I've got now 3 different acoustic guitars. I've got 2 electric guitars. I got a fucking drum set. I got a keyboard down there. Like I'm building a whole entire fucking music studio downstairs to where like we can have some jam sessions. I want to invite some local artists over, find some people that already are established artists and showcase them, whether it's also starting like a recording label and building a fucking real booth over there and actually recording fucking real music, because mixing beats ain't that fucking hard. We just got to find someone that knows how to do it, you know? And like,
it's hard to get. I've tried. It's really hard to get started. But once you get started and know, like, okay, this is where the bridge is going to be. This is where this has to drop.
I'm not a composer. I'm really tough with that. But like I said, I have no shortage of ideas. And like I said, I'm good at networking and finding people, you know? So like he's trying to find musicians to start a band. I'm trying to build a house band for the comedy thing down there.
Yeah.
So it's like it all overlaps and interworks with each other. And like for any of that, I would need a photographer. I would need someone to fucking shoot photos and film and, you know, so. But I don't even know what time it is. We can wrap it up though.
7-Eleven.
7-Eleven. This podcast is brought to you by 7-Eleven.
I wish.
Anything else? Yeah, me too. And just fucking Slurpee. Anything else you want to fucking mention? Anything you want to leave us with? Promote?
Subscribe to Pennsylvania Hick on YouTube. Follow my TikTok, PA Hick. PA Hick on everything.
And we're getting to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I'll make sure I got all the links and everything like that. I'll drop them in the description. As always, man, always a good time sitting down and talking with you, dude. Super stoked to have you here, man. And we'll do this again real soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, man.